So, it is Street Talk time. Hello everybody, Street Talk. What do we think of this week's Coronation Street? It was the big trial. It's pretty much all trial or trial related things this week. There was a few other little mini stories to the side, but everything really revolved around Meghan in the dock and would she get sent down. I said that she would, you said that she wouldn't.
Yep.
I was right. I wasn't not right about many things, but I'm very pleased to see that Meghan got dragged away kicking and screaming in today's episode. So we are going to be chatting about that one.
She was so
very,
funny.
very soon. She was great. She was fantastic. I don't know whether that's
Not
the last
funny,
we've seen
I
of
guess,
her.
but...
I'm imagining it is.
I'll get you next time.
It was basically that, wasn't it? So lots to chat about there. I'm looking forward to it, but we will start off as we always do with some lovely clickbait this week. Mm-hmm. And the Metro put an article out. Gemma, you're not going to get this one because it's very vague, the headline. That isn't sarcasm, it really is. Get your act together. Coronation Street fans lash out at major show blunder.
Probably their favourite character's not in the show enough.
No, it's not to do with that. This is actual people saying they've got this wrong. It's something to do with the trial.
The trial is too short, long, soon.
No, although that is true.
Something to do with Will giving evidence. No. What then?
It is to do with Adam's role in the trial.
Adam wouldn't be allowed to wear a hat.
What? People have complained online this week that Adam is not a barrister, yet he seems to be acting in a barrister's role.
We've had this
in the show
before.
I think we have. Coronation Street does like to use their solicitors as a barrister in court, and people are saying, hang on a minute, that's not right. But this article on Digital Spy, they've actually reached out to ITV about this and
really?
got a response.
What did they say?
ITV, where did I get BBC from? BBC said that actually...
ITV said.
ITV, did I say BBC
it's because I was on the BBC earlier.
Gemma was on the BBC today.
Radio Manchester, tune in.
Just saying.
Phil.
He's a solicitor advocate. He's got an advocate qualification, which can be granted and has been able to be granted since around, I think, 1994, it said, to allow solicitors to act in the barrister role in court. And Adam has got this. Imran had this. Dee had this. It's basically a way of saying, just forget it. Just forget it. It is actually technically possible. Never mind the fact that Adam, lives on the street as the person he's representing. He lives on the street, the person he's trying to, who he's trying to debunk as a witness. All of that nonsense. Never mind. Adam is very much allowed to don the white wig and say his bit in court. So there we go.
I'm sure we've had this discussion before because I think I remember it. And also, I don't think he would. I was making a joke, but I don't think he would be allowed to wear a wig.
I don't know how it works, but I wish I was clever enough to notice things like that. As despite the many years of talking about Coronation Street trials on this podcast, I'm still not really knowledgeable enough to be able to have any idea about whether it's realistic or not. So I just go along with the fun of it, to be honest. But anyway, there is an answer for this, and how much you put into it, how much weight you give it, well, I don't know, that's down to you. The Liverpool Echo is our next headline, Gemma, who said this week, Coronation Street exit sealed as fans work out who Sarah frames for Theo's murder.
Jodie.
Yeah. What would you reckon to that? So they're in a bit of a stalemate this week, aren't they? Jodie has got an inkling that Sarah was up to something suspicious this week, although I can't remember off the top of my head whether or not she said, oh, you must have killed Theo then. Sarah definitely knows that Jodie clonked her on the head, so in order to get out of this stalemate, maybe it is a good option for Sarah to say, well, I think Jodie did it, because what can Jodie say in return? I think Sarah did it. And then it's just a bit of a face-off between who can hold their nerve for longest and give the most convincing defence.
Yep. Yeah.
Would you be interested in the show going down that route?
Yeah. I mean, why not?
I think that, I think it would be a bit harsh on Jodie were she to take the fall for this. No, I don't think she is. So if she's not, and then we did kind of go that, then the wheel of justice would therefore then spin to Sarah, and if they did enough digging, potentially they could find, oh yes, her DNA was all over Theo's body. I wonder why we didn't notice that before. I don't know. But, hey, they got to get out of it somehow, haven't they? Because, like we've said before, I don't think that Sarah is going to be... don't think she's going to be taking the fall for this one. Well, not taking the fall. I don't think that she's going to be sent down for this one. I think she's going to wriggle her way out of it. And Theo did take the fall here. thank you again
Next.
to the few people who've written in defence of our stance of Sarah Louise not acting in self-defence up on the scaffolding. We hear you and we appreciate your solidarity.
You're the best ones.
Yes, you are the best ones. The
You're
listeners
the
who agree
best
with us on
favourite
this.
ducklings.
The Manchester Evening News, this is the last one this week, and again, I don't think you're going to guess this one because it's a bit silly. Coronation Street fans think they've spotted who will rumble Jodie Ramsay truth. So who's going to find out that Jodie is a bit of a wrong un and hit Sarah over the head? Apart from Sarah herself,
David.
of course. No, that's
David
too obvious.
the dog.
No.
Shona.
No.
Lily.
No.
Harry Platt.
No. You're thinking too obvious.
Rita.
No.
Lauren.
You got 5 guesses.
Todd.
No.
Kirk.
Yes. How did you get that?
I thought of the person it wouldn't be.
The Manchester Evening News has dug up a Coronation Street Facebook page, which is, where they all get theirs. There's the top sources. And apparently somebody said, at this rate, it's going to be Kirk who figures out Jodie. And that is what the article was based on. I salute you for your efforts, Manchester Evening News.
Look, everybody, all the journos, next week, when it's Soap Week, this is where your headlines are going to be made, okay?
Yes.
Talking about the amazing stuff that's going to happen.
Please put articles out about Soap
It's
Week
much
next
more
week,
exciting.
Any listening journos. Don't take my mocking of your clickbaity headlines
They
as
know
a
it's
reason
all
not
in
to.
good fun.
You give us content. It's great.
Yeah, it's much more exciting than going on a Facebook page and finding somebody being sarcastic and making it into a headline, isn't it? Talk about amazing things that we're going to do in Soap Week.
All the money that we'll raise
and
for charity.
everybody is going to invited to join in.
Yeah, we've got a list, haven't we, of people on the walk. Do you want to say how many people are potentially coming on the walk so far?
About 15.
Not a secret, is it? About 15 people we've got so far coming along for the little stroll between Key Street and Media City at the moment in a week's time.
And it looks like the weather is not going to be horrible, by which I mean...
It's not going to be too hot.
It might rain.
Have you seen it? Oh, I didn't see it. Possibly, I hope it doesn't rain. I thought last saw that it was going to be in the high 20s. But
well, look, if you start being horrible like that...
It was hot last year, wasn't it?
It was.
And you
30.
didn't complain once. You didn't complain once.
It says it's 26.
Yeah, there
26.
We go. Could be. That's fine. It's fine.
Could be worse.
It's all for a good cause, Gemma.
Please don't forget to bring your sunscreen
bottle.
and water, because it says the max UV index is 7.2, which is unhealthy.
Right, let's talk about this week's Coronation Street. Gemma, we are going to be taking spending the lion's share of this podcast and recounting what's been going on in trial and all the adjacent stories to that, which I haven't separated out, even though I could have done. I just didn't want to. So we have got the Meghan and Pleadin story first, which is going to be trial. It's going to be Sam. It's also going to be a bit of Leanne and Idris in there because Leanne was kind of involved with Sam. It's all a bit of a jumble. But like I said in the bonus podcast that we released this week, it's quite nice how some of the stories do just sprout off as side shoots rather than being their own individual thing. We couldn't keep the dinner Platt manslaughter story for the Theo murder mystery unveiled this week because there was no dinner in it. So I've called it Sarah Ludunnit. Little chuckle, polite chuckle from Gemma there. Thank you very much. And we also had a little bit going on with the young girls, and I think that Asha's Sienna Spark.
Right. Yeah.
Sienna Spark. Sienna Spark. Yeah. And there was a little bit of Dob stuff at the end as well, which didn't really turn into anything.
Tell everybody my hilarious nickname that I've got for Idris, which is the most brilliant, hilarious.
What's that?
Slumlord Smarm Pants.
Oh, that's what you called him on the short last night, or tonight, didn't you?
Slumlord
Smarm
Pants.
Let's see if it
No
sticks.
one's come up with a more hilarious nickname for anything. That's better than, what was it?
So good, you can't even remember.
What was the name that everyone wanted to call the ship?
Boaty
McBoatface. It's better than that.
Okay, if you say so. We'll see whether it goes viral as an internet meme, Gemma.
I know
that none of my storyline titles this week will do, if I tell you that.
I know how it feels for somebody to crap on your creative process.
I think that maybe we should just do day by day for this one and swap over. Otherwise, whoever plucks it as the story recounter will maybe have no breath left.
You can carry on. You can just do it yourself, and I'll go and eat some soup.
No, we've got soup for that. You're too hot for soup at the moment. So there was no curry on Tuesday this week. Monday this week. We had It was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, wasn't it? We were kind of going through the week thinking, is there going to be Corrie on? What's the football going to do? I think we've got a definitive schedule
home.
next week.
It's coming home. It's coming. Mexico looks quite scary. Everyone's going to be tired on Monday. You know that. You're the only person who's going to.
Look, I've told the children, you've got to be in. You've got to be in on Monday because we are rehearsing for the Year 6 performance.
They won't be. I've already seen people on Twitter sending out draft letters. Here's what you can send the head teacher of your school to explain your child's absence.
No.
And tell them that the most important thing that could be possible in any
parent,
true Englishman's life on Sunday night is to watch the football match. Because we have a football, it's Mexico versus England at 1 a.m.
1 in the morning.
England
on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Well, I will be fast asleep.
Finish at 3 or something, maybe.
Yeah.
And then Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, has said
Thanks
that
for
all
saying
of
who
the...
Keir Starmer is.
No, everyone knows. You didn't know sometimes. That the pubs are going to be open at 5.
Until 5.
But yeah, not open at 5.
Right, Meghan and Pleading, Gemma. I'm going to start off this one if you don't mind.
Do you think Meghan can watch the football in prison?
No. That's what maybe I should go. Escape of it. Tuesday's episode. So we've got this mysterious figure edging into the Rovers, looking pretty cagey. Starts to say something and scurries out. It turns out, because she returns later after that little false entrance, turns out that she is Janine Walsh, Meghan's mother.
She could be the new Christina.
She could be, couldn't she? She could be. What did you think about her inclusion this week? And if this was it for her, was the programme really, did it benefit having the inclusion of a new character?
They needed her so that we could see what Meghan's thought process was, didn't we?
What, when they had the conversation together?
Yeah, like her plan, like she's speaking to her mum and I don't know whether she might hang around for next week. I don't know. But
Well, did you like her?
You're not supposed to like her, really, are you? She's a pedo's mum.
Sorry, you can't tar the pedo's mum with the same.
No, you can't.
Tar as the pedo.
No, you can't. But you can't be like, as far as first impressions go, you can't discount the fact that she's a.
I thought that she was a very sympathetic character. Actually, I thought that she was very much a character like, I can't believe that this is happening to my daughter. I am kind of a bit ashamed. I know that she eventually she was trying to defend her daughter as you would, and maybe she was a little bit underhand when she was trying to speak to Will, because she was just being a protective mum at the end of the day. But I did feel really sorry for her seeing this. Nobody wants to, I'm sure that Hitler's mum was just that little bit ashamed when she saw him doing the Munich Putsch
Frau
or whatever.
Hitler.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what history says about Hitler's mum.
She didn't to
Sounds
me.
Like a book, doesn't it?
Hitler's
mum. From Oprah's book club.
She's like a portrait like Whistler's mother, isn't it? I think that she found herself in a situation that no parent obviously ever wants to find yourself in, that your child is being, in the dock for a heinous crime. But I think that she, if Meghan hadn't been in this situation, she'd be a fairly likeable character. I don't know. Did you have no opinion on her, or was
she served a function of letting us know what Meghan was up to.
So you didn't think that they developed her character as much as you would have wanted to, or I
think she served a purpose.
Served a purpose, and that was it. Well, I'm
not going to have somebody recording me saying I like this pedo's mum.
Well, I will, because I thought she was lovely. And look, Stephen Reed is a serial killer. Are you going to be bad-mouthing Audrey? Are you just saying that she's a serial killer's mum?
No, I think serial killing is actually quite good.
Do you?
Yeah, as far as crimes on Coronation Street are concerned, I think that serial killing is pretty high up there.
Well, you got to enjoy the serial killers.
He killed off a bunch of people that deserve to die, really.
No, they didn't. They didn't at all.
What's his face did?
In
the
Rufus.
Swimming pool. Yeah, Rufus. Kill Rufus. Sorry, Rufus.
Right. Okay. So I'm not going to get much out of you about Meghan's mum. That's fine.
I don't feel the need to defend her. No.
Okay. Fair enough. So we also had Sam. Who's still locked up in the unit, isn't he? He's still in the mental health ward or whatever it's called, in the hospital.
Oh, I thought this was a Doctor Who thing. I thought he joined unit.
No.
I think he would do.
That was a
Don't
reference.
You think he would
there.
do?
Sam would
He'd
definitely be in uni.
He'd love it because it's sciencey space nerdness.
Yeah, I think they would sign him right up for it. But anyway, not a possibility at the moment now that Doctor Who's not doing so well in the news.
Something to think about, and also, can you imagine him having a conversation with a Dalek? Like, exterminate, and he's like, but why? What really is the purpose of this extermination? Do you not feel bad about what you're doing to all these other species across the universe? And he'd be like, I don't know, what do you mean? I feel attacked.
Sam would just, he'd rip off the killy parts and he'd just be talking to the little blob inside, wouldn't he?
And it would be going, just kill me, stop asking me questions.
As a big old Sam Blakeman fan, I've enjoyed him immensely this week, as always. And he's talking on Tuesday about this art therapy that he's doing, and he's drawn a chessboard. Not quite
an evil
so.
Chessboard.
It wasn't an evil chessboard this week, no, but it's still in that same gothic-y sort of style. And
I was going to say, only give him a biro, it looks like. What is this art therapy?
Well, you got to be careful.
It's called doodling.
It's clearly he's still very eaten up inside about that loss against Roy last week, and he's plotting out all these different moves that he could have played, he should have played, were his mind in the right place last week.
This is like you and Charlie doing bloody Mario Kart.
Me and Charlie?
Yeah, you both can't lose, can you?
I don't like
and
to
if
lose
you
at Mario
if you do
Kart.
lose, then there has to be, This is why I don't get why you don't like football, because the punditry about losses on Mario Kart and what's the other one?
The World
Smash
Cup.
Brothers
Yeah.
would be the same.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway.
And Charlie'd be saying, oh no, it's my controller's wrong.
He says that his brain is less foggy now, and to be honest, Sam was pretty normal this week, wasn't he? I didn't get any kind of sense of...
Use our words carefully.
Well, no, his
behaviour...
Less troubled this week.
Yeah.
He kind of spirals off a little bit, but I would say it's for fairly understandable reasons.
It's difficult to see how he wouldn't feel slightly stressed.
Yeah, but I would say on the whole he presented as being quite calm and chirpy, and he was making jokes and stuff, so yeah, I thought it was all looking good. The doctor has said, tell you what, Sam, could be out by the end of the week if this all carries on the way it's going. And I really thought, I mentioned it on most of the shorts this week, I was convinced that Sam was going to get out on Friday and he was going to be given the crucial piece of evidence that had seen Meghan get taken down. It wasn't just a hope, I really, really thought that he would be up there, because we've been speaking for months about Sam testifying. We said that maybe he's going to have a breakdown in court if that happened before it was found out what was wrong with him. But I did think that the trial part of this week's story, although there was the twist with Will initially saying, oh no, I was never in a relationship with Miss Walsh, apart from that it was fairly trial by numbers, wasn't it?
I didn't like it, actually. When there's a trial, I like them to do a proper trial, and they never do these
What do you
days.
mean?
Well, where was the other kid? Why didn't Sam give evidence? Why wasn't anyone else questioned? I don't know how it would go, but it seems to me like there would be a bit more like, what was the evidence that Kit found? Nothing.
Yeah.
Why didn't the defence call in, say, where's this forensic evidence to prove it? I'm going to call in the person who's in charge of looking at the mobile phone and the laptop. They didn't find anything.
You're right. It turned out it seemed to be very, very abridged. What we basically got was Will saying his bit and saying, no, I wasn't in a relationship with Meghan. We had Ben coming in saying, he was definitely in a relationship with Meghan. Although he didn't even give the evidence about what happened with the hotel room when he brought them up there.
There was no evidence.
And then Meghan comes up and was like, no,
I didn't.
Will comes up and say, actually, I've changed my mind, yes. And that was basically it. There was so much more that we could have seen, but if they had, would it have felt a bit more like, we know this?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I wanted there to be a few more moments in the week where I was like saying, they got you there, Meghan, how are you going to get out of this?
Yeah, me
and
too.
Maybe her saying, well, I've got a perfectly good explanation for this. But yeah, everything related to the pregnancy, the hotel, all the evidence that we've been seeing build up since December last year, it all came to nothing. And I know that was part of it.
It was just the story. That was the story.
That was the
led us to
story,
this
and part of the story was, there's no evidence now because she's lost the baby, so we can't do DNA testing. But
they just not bring any of this up. I don't.
And they can't show the whole trial, and maybe we're supposed to think that they did bring it up.
But so here's the thing, right? If you're on the jury, and I know this is a bit of a hot topic, right, in this podcast at the moment, because it's all to do with your intentions and knowing whether somebody's lying or not. So with Sarah Louise, was she acting in self-defence? We could really not know. We don't know, and that's why there's a debate about it, yeah? Because it's really only in her mind that the information is held. With this, Meghan and Will, I don't know how you could find her guilty if you're on the jury, because you didn't get given any evidence except for he said and she said.
And his dad said.
I know, but that's not evidence. It's really hard, isn't it?
It's really hard, because if you're saying guilty on a jury, you've got to be beyond reasonable doubt convinced that
she definitely did this, and there's no reasonable person could ever think that there's a possibility that she didn't.
Right.
Yeah, but really, we all know that people can lie about this, and it's really sad and unfortunate, and it's very rare. It's actually much rarer than.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be the champion of people who dismiss victims, but when you don't have any evidence, and you're talking about someone's career, like, she can never be a teacher now.
I don't think she didn't really want to be, did she?
No, she didn't really want to be, but she can never, like, her life is restricted even after she's finished, and she's always going to be known as a paedophile. So
Meghan the pedo Walsh with a mother who is the mother of a paedophile.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously we know that she did it. And if I knew what I knew and I was on the jury, I'd say, yeah, she definitely did it. But I wouldn't say that the evidence was there.
Yeah.
We're supposed to just think that the evidence was presented. We just didn't get to see it. Do
you think that the jurors all had to say, look, I only watch Emmerdale, right? I've got no idea who this...
Does anyone here watch Corrie all the time?
Yeah.
You do. What did she do it then?
No, if you watch Corrie all the time, you're not allowed. You got to go home. Sorry, you got to do a different trial. But if you do just watch Emmerdale, can you tell me what's going on with Jodie? Is there any clarity there?
Who's Graham?
I just, as I say, this kind of started because I was just a little bit disappointed that the trial didn't delve into all those little depths. But that's the problem with the trial, isn't it? In a soap, there's a risk of there being too much. We know this. If you're watching a gritty crime drama revolving around a courtroom, you haven't seen all the lead up to it. So the trial itself was exciting, and all the new bits of evidence that gets brought in, you got no idea about. If they'd just strung it out and said, well, let's talk about the baby, let's talk about this, we know that. Unless there was something that came out of the blue, and there was the potential for something to come out of the blue with this mysterious new bit of evidence that Kit allegedly found a couple of months ago, and that seems to have been dropped. But also, if Sam had been able to, if things had been looking really, really on the ropes, and Sam had done this, magnificent, Great Escape style or Shawshank Redemption style tunnelling out of the psych ward at the hospital, only to turn up at the trial at the last moment and save the day for Will, that would have made it a bit more exciting for me. But maybe it didn't need to be exciting. Maybe it needed to be just a horrible piece of work put to justice.
Do you not think that Sam really was the key for this? Because he's a completely uninterested third party that has no skin in the game whatsoever. What does he care?
I think the problem would have been, had Sam come up there, is the reliability of his testimony would have been seriously called into question.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Because then it brings into the whole... This is why people with mental illnesses and, schizophrenia and things, this is why they are so vulnerable, because he wouldn't necessarily be believed.
But then maybe you could have had someone like Hope, who, she wasn't particularly involved in it, was she? But had they kind of planted a seed somewhere so that Hope could have backed up something that Sam said, maybe that would have been the hooray moment.
It was just missing lots of stuff. I don't think they could have involved any kind of evidence about another child, because we think that she had, we know that she had another victim, and I assume she's going to be tried for that as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, because I think, was he mentioned in the fact that he had... I thought he was
think he
mentioned,
was.
and he said, no, she had never had a relationship with me either.
Well, maybe this will make him come forward.
Exactly. Now she's been found guilty.
I totally understand why the idea exists that you cannot be... Previous crimes don't come up during a trial because you're supposed to be tried. Like, those crimes have done, and you've had your punishment or whatever, and so you're moving on. It's not fair to keep retrying somebody for a crime they did. But at the same time, this is why people like Meghan or Aaron get away with what they do, because it's a pattern of behaviour, and the police can find out about this. This is why reports are good.
That's why they need to like brand you when you've been found guilty of something. They just or
it's very difficult.
Tattoo on you and say can't hide that.
I don't really know what's the rate of people who commit these crimes who then go on to never do it again. I don't think it's very. I think that they're re-offenders. I think the rules should be different depending on what the crime is you're being accused of, and I think it would have made sense to have had a bit more about Meghan's previous.
Yeah, that previous dabblings.
Where's Trisha?
Oh, Trisha.
Is she gone now? Is that
Trisha's
it?
gone. Yeah, she
because
served
Tim's
her
involvement
purpose
in
as well.
this is over now. He had a little pop up again.
I mean, even Tim, I was wondering at one point during the week, is Tim going to save the day? Again, he knew what Will told him, and actually, again, as a very, very neutral third party, he could have said what Will told him after Will said
he didn't.
Yeah. Rather than having Will go up and say, actually, I changed my mind. Getting Tim to say, look, he said this to me. I'm
sure that people who are listening who know about the justice system would be screaming why this wouldn't make sense. I'm sure you can't. I'm sure it'd just be hearsay, wouldn't it, or something. I just...
There's more that I feel they could have done to have made this more exciting.
Well, there's two sides of it.
Maybe Corrie said, look, she's going to be found guilty. I'm sure most of the viewers will know she's going to be found guilty. Is there any point in... Except Gemma. Is there any point in stringing it out and making it look like she's not when everybody knows that soap justice catches up with you? And maybe that's a problem that soap has, because in many cases... it's an inevitability, because we've seen this kind of story happen again and again and again, and the results are almost always the same.
There was an opportunity to turn it into a story about victims of like grooming or sexual assault or whatever, and how difficult it is for them to get a verdict or to go to trial and be questioned. Have we had that? We haven't, have we?
I don't know.
It's a really difficult topic, but I think it's a really important one, because lots of people don't even want to go that far with an accusation because they know how it might end. And when I'm saying, I don't think you could find Meghan guilty, and I think that the evidence wasn't really there, I don't know what the answer to that is, because you can't really have evidence the way that you would all really we'd all love to have. We'd all love to have a completely watertight, obvious bit of evidence.
Why couldn't Eva have been questioned and the
hearsay?
barrister say, tell us about the time that Meghan confessed to your face that she'd been having a relationship with Will? Yeah. But I know Meghan could have said, I was just joking.
Well, but she could have
all adds up.
Adam could have painted this picture of a vindictive family, thwarted athletic ambitions, and Will wasn't quite the student that everyone thought he was, and Meghan tried her best, but now they're taking it out on Meghan.
We've all heard of the Driscolls, the mafiosi of Hull.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of my overall thoughts on the trial going into this. But back to what actually happened. So we had Janine at the Rovers, didn't we? And Meghan is actually Maggie was the same as you.
Maggie was Meghan.
Maggie, your daughter's a paedophile. You're just as bad. I'm tiring you with the same.
No, I didn't say that. I just said I'm not ready to sort of invite her over for dinner.
Fair enough. Janine wants to talk to Will because she's been kind of sent off on a mission, hasn't she, by Meghan, to try and have one last ditch attempt at convincing him to change his story or to not not testify against her daughter. But anyway, she ends up scuttling out, realising that she's been beaten. So she returns to the car, which is parked up on Brewery Lane, and Megan's there. Megan was a real cow to her mum. I think this was another reason why I ended up feeling a bit sorry for her, because Megan was like, "Oh, you didn't try hard enough. You're a failure. You want me to go to prison, do you?" She says, "Oh, you clearly didn't try. You clearly don't care against me. Do you think I'm a paedophile?" And the mum's like, "No, of course not. It's just really, really stressful." And this is when Megan says, "Look, I just made a stupid mistake once," and this is the first time that she'd actually admitted to her mum that something had happened. And again, massive sympathy for mum there, who up until this point had thought that she was defending her daughter, innocent, who was having these horrific accusations made against her, which happens to teachers all the time. Now her daughter, on the eve of her trial, is saying, "Wow, there is something in it." So yeah, she said it was a brief lapse of judgment, and as soon as I came to my senses, I ended it. And yeah,
how brief was this lapse of judgment that you can end? What were you ending?
I enjoyed, I appreciated, should I say, the fact that we got some dates today, and that on the Friday episode we found out that it was February 2025 that this relationship began, and I didn't think that we'd had such a clear timeline for the grooming, so that was kind of useful, a bit of extra info, I suppose. Anyway, so back in the pub, you got Eva feeling a little bit sorry for Janine, and Megan clearly Maggie. That's one good thing about Megan going. I'm sad to see her go, but at least I won't confuse those names anymore. Maggie clearly isn't. Ben just wants Will to be kept out of all of this. He needs to be 100% focused on his testimony. And Ollie thinks, no, we should trust Will. But Ben says, nope, my family, my rules. He is not going to know that Megan's mum has been round here today. But then he changes his mind and tells them anyway in the next scene, I think. So I don't know, he's convinced otherwise. Eva says, well, she seemed well-intentioned. And Ben's like, well, yeah, maybe. Will's glad he told him. Nothing particularly comes of that, does it?
Wouldn't there be some kind of protection? Like, wouldn't Megan's family have been told to not contact the victim's family?
Well, probably, but then also you might say that Adam probably would have been told it's not a very good idea to go into the pub after the first day of the trial and say, look, Will needs to pull himself together.
This is the trouble with Corrie.
Literally, Adam should be disbarred for what he did at the end of that episode.
We don't know how... It's half fantasy land and half like proper gritty realism, and it's really difficult because we're not in charge of picking and choosing when they follow the rules and when they don't, and so it can be really annoying. And I'm sure that everybody who's involved in the justice system feels as annoyed as you do sometimes when
the
school stories are, but equally sometimes you also think, I don't care, let's get on with it and tell a story.
As long as it's entertaining, that's all that counts. It's
difficult, it's tricky.
Sam, meanwhile, is wondering whether he should go along to the trial and says, I think I probably should. Toya and Nick aren't too sure. Sam just wants to see Megan getting justice in the hope that he might get closure from it. Janine accosts Will at the bus stop later, and he soon realises who she is and says, look, I really don't think that we should talk. She just wants to apologise for everything that her daughter's put him through. She says she was just a normal girl. She was bright. She had prospects, a good career, and she's thrown it all away. Definitely inappropriate what she did. But the fact that she risked so much, she risked a job, she risked her reputation, everything, just for you. That must mean that she loved you, right?
Janine, you bitch.
I know. She's just scared of her daughter. She's scared for her daughter.
Not scared of her.
Well, I think she is a little bit, because of when Megan had a go at her in the car, it seems like she was kind of ruling the roost there. It was...
Well...
So she was, as much as there was a sympathy there for Mum, she was a little bit cowardly as well. Anyway, next...
Maybe at the end of the story she'll get a heart.
What?
No, she weren't a brain. No, what is it?
Who? Oh, the Cowardly Lion?
Gets a...
You need to go and see this play that they're putting on at Weatherfield,
Tin Man gets a heart.
Weatherfield School this week, Gemma.
The Scarecrow gets a diploma.
Yes.
What does the lion get?
He gets a little bottle of courage, doesn't he?
It's not even a thing.
Right, next episode. So there were 2 episodes on Monday, weren't there, rather than an hour. all of this weird scheduling, and some people are saying, why have they done this? Some people probably watched the second episode first accidentally. But
well, they accidentally uploaded Friday's episode.
No, they accidentally uploaded Thursday's early as well on Wednesday.
Yeah, and people watched it thinking it was and got confused.
Yeah, there was a real screw up behind the scenes with this. I'm not saying that the 2 episodes on Tuesday was a screw up. They were literally just showed Mondays and then Tuesdays, but there was later on in the week.
I don't envy anybody involved in any of this because this is minefield.
Will's dressed up for court in the second episode of the Tuesday evening. Ollie thinks he looks like an accountant.
Ollie, just make some pop.
They talk about the statement being played to the court. There's a kind of a, should Will be there seeing Megan eye to eye, right? Should he deliver his testimony with her in his presence, or should they just play the video of it or play the audio
People have said quite a lot of different things about how in real life a vulnerable person would be given evidence, but this is dramatic effect. So
I don't know how much choice somebody of his age would actually have.
Well, he's decided to do the whole shebang.
Yeah, he says, I'm going to go into court. I want to see the look in her eyes. I'm not afraid.
He said, I saw Conversation Street uploaded a behind the scenes of Bolton Crown Court, and I want to go and stand exactly where Michael has stood.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've been everywhere in that courtroom, haven't you?
You've been where the judge sits, you've been courtroom,
where the accused stand, you've been in the gods.
And it was only about 2 weeks after we went, maybe, that they filmed there.
And
possibly.
It's the guy who I tell you what, if anyone from Coronation Street is listening, the guy who works for the Bolton Town Hall, the council, very, very discreet, exactly like the people that work for the florists, didn't say a peep, knew exactly what was going to happen.
He could have said that they were coming soon.
But we wouldn't have said, if he told us, we wouldn't have said, but we would have been very smug about it.
Nothing really went on with this lucky penny or whatever it was that Maggie gave Will.
It's just a bit of...
Because she had it and then gave it to Will, and then Susie comes and borrows it for show and tell. And was that kind of supposed to be symbolising that actually he doesn't have the luck of the Driscolls and it's all going wrong? I don't remember whether there was a line where he's like, oh, if only I hadn't given that penny to Susie. But
God, it sounds like a Disney film.
I don't know. So, Eva and Ben are talking about how Adam's a disgrace through all this for defending Megan.
A Disney film where somebody has to go to court to accuse a paedophile. No, that doesn't work, does it?
And as they all get to court, and Daniel's getting glared at by Maggie. I don't think Daniel had a whole lot to do here, but
Daniel was just like, I'm just happy to be involved.
He was there. He's like, I love looking down my nose at people, and when I'm up here, and they're down there, this is the perfect place to do just that.
He's sitting there going, I'm going to bring back Victorian classrooms because this is incredible.
I feel so high and mighty up here, says Daniel. This is perfect for me.
I
started to see what Blanche got out of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Megan arrives. She goes into a little glass box, and when Ben and Will, meanwhile, are in a little side room talking about I don't know, when they used to live in France and stuff. And Ben tells Will, if you start to panic, just take 3 deep breaths. It's gonna be fine. And he gets called in.
Do you think? Right. I don't know how many courts have this glass box thing. Whether it's
no idea.
And I've seen it for like really proper scary criminals, or they're going to spit at you or they're going to lunge at you.
I think that they should have tied Megan up, restrained her like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, I think so. But do you not think there's a bit of a psychological thing here? Do you not think that you're at a bit of a disadvantage if you are the accused and you're in a glass box in the middle, like some kind of Superman villain?
It's like you're in a zoo, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I think it's
Is it a bit degrading?
I don't think it's good. I don't think it gives you a fair crack.
I guess it stops people pelting you with rotten tomatoes.
They shouldn't be bringing tomatoes in because global warming.
What?
Well, we're going to run out of tomatoes, aren't we?
You weirdo. Anyway, so it's all started. We have a little scene from Tim and Steve as well. Potentially a Cut for Canada scene, this, where they're talking about what foods they like best. I didn't really see the point of this. It built up to Tim agreeing to speak to Will later on in the week. But it was just the pair of them talking about what cuisine they like best. And Tim's got a penchant for all things Italian, whereas Steve, he goes French, which I don't believe whatsoever.
Steve doesn't
I
know
cannot
what French
believe
food
that
is.
Steve is a gourmand. of French cuisine.
Why not Indian? None of them said Indian or Chinese.
I can't remember whether it was. It might have been mentioned, but Tim. I mean, I'm obviously with Tim here. It's like the easy choice. It's kind of the food. Philistines kind of cuisine of choice,
Can I tell
isn't
you,
it?
Michael, that pasta bake and Domino's and Papa John's is not Italian food.
I know, but it's it's in the whole spirit of the thing, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
I think
Spaghetti bolognese isn't even Italian.
I think Italian food is my favourite.
You don't eat Italian food.
I suppose it's a bit like saying you like Chinese food when all you're enjoying is chow mein and crispy shredded beef from the takeaway.
No, it's not even that. It would be the people who you see on TikTok who go, right, I've got my Chinese takeaway here, let's dish it out and eat it. And it's chips and curry sauce.
Well, I don't know. If for someone to ask me, I would say Italian. French cuisine, I don't go much on. I like. Steve said, "What about your steak frite?" And I agree with that. But
you lived in France.
But Steve was talking about beef bourguignon. I cut Steve. You're not. That's not your favourite dish. No, it's fine. It's what would you say? What's your favourite?
My favourite cuisine?
Yeah, which country would you go for?
At the moment, maybe Korean or Japanese.
Is Korean actually jumped to the top of your list? Because this is the fad of the moment, isn't it?
I like novelty.
Oh, okay. So you don't like to have the same favourite for too long?
No.
Okay.
We've said this before about favourites. What did I say?
Don't have favourites.
It's silly.
Wow.
Tim hates tapas like you.
Yes, so exactly. Tim and I, we're basically eating. I was going to say singing off the same hymn sheet, but really it's ordering off the same menu. So yeah, Italian, no tapas. Yeah, absolutely, Tim. So
what don't you like about tapas?
I just see. I don't particularly like meals that take too long to eat.
Oh no!
Over it, and I know you do.
Oh, it's my favourite thing.
But
you are so fast to eat.
If I've got a plate of food, nom 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 nom, done.
You don't even.
And you always say, don't you even? You got to appreciate it. Don't you sit there and savour it.
You don't put the cutlery down, do you? You put food in your mouth and you chew it, and then the next bite is in your mouth and you're chewing it, and then the next bite is in your mouth and you're chewing it. And
you'll sit and watching me going, come on. And like if there's something that's my favourite thing, you say, why aren't you kind of
savouring it,
eking it out and savouring it? And no. So I think one of the things I don't like about tapas is that it's like just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I go wait for the next thing to be delivered.
Why are we married?
I know. We're very, very different.
It's completely the opposite. Like when we go out for a meal, I have to tell you to put your cutlery down.
Literally, this is a conversation that we often have when we go out for dinner together.
Like, can you put your cutlery down and just enjoy being? What's the point of doing anything? You might as well just eat pasta bake every day and just shovel it into your fat face.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Is anyone else the same as me? It's not that I don't enjoy food. Like if there's something I'm eating and I'm enjoying it, it's great. It's like yum 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 yum.
That's weird.
I don't. It's not even like I don't want it to be cold when I get to the end of it.
You just mindlessly. It's like when you eat chocolates.
Yeah.
You just mindlessly put them in your mouth until there's no more left.
Yeah.
Whereas I get like a little truffle or something, and I have a little bite, and then I put it down, and then I have a little another bite, and then
if I'm feeling very brave, I'll say, "Have you finished with that? Are you going to have any more of that?" And you're like, "Yes, I haven't finished it.
I'm eating my dinner."
Anyway, so that's a little insight into our differing food tastes and how I am on Tim's side, which I'm sure disgusts you, Gemma.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to eat any more Italian food now, and I'm only going to eat tapas.
Right, so Will is in the dock later. Is that the right? I don't even know. He's on the witness stand or whatever it is. He's questioned about his defence and his story of it. He's the prosecutor, isn't it? That's on his side. The prosecutor's the goodie in this.
What?
Because they're prosecuting Meghan.
Yes.
And he says, I was actually quite chuffed when Meghan and I first did the deed together. And over time, though, I got more frustrated and paranoid and jealous, particularly of Daniel. So he's just spoken very honestly about his changing feelings. And I can't remember when it comes up. Maybe it's when Ben's questioned the next day and he says, oh yeah, Will did get grumpy. He was never used to be grumpy, honestly.
It's weird how it coincided with him being a teenager and having hormones.
Yeah, well, exactly. And she says, well, how do you feel about Megan now? And he stares at her, and she does this little shake of the head, doesn't she?
Yeah, like don't do it.
Last ditch attempt to say, come on, Will. You remember us?
You go for Italian if you
exactly.
if you do this right.
Yeah, come on, Will. And he says, there was no relationship. I wanted it to be true. She was just my coach. And that was the best kind of big court twist of the week for me, because I didn't see that coming particularly. I don't think it was obvious that was going to happen, but it did the job of stringing things out just that little bit longer. But again,
can you not see that it really is baffling to me that there wasn't. The jury came back really fast, didn't they?
I don't know. The next day.
Do you not think that you would take... Do you not think there'd be a few holdouts on the jury going, so what? So he said one thing and now he's saying another thing. He's obviously not telling the truth. He's told a lie in court. How can we believe anything he's saying? I'm not saying that's the correct thing to say, and this is the trouble about crimes like this. But I'm just saying, I find it very hard to believe, given the attitudes I've read in the Daily Mail comment section, that everybody on the jury was like, yes, I am very mature and I'm experienced and I have measured this and I've seen the episode, so I know what happened.
Yeah, no,
you don't think he would have not thrown a bit of a spanner in the works?
Well, it's all thanks to Ben and his expert testimony and whatever else happened when the cameras weren't rolling, I guess. Anyway,
expert testimony. It being
so it's all gone wrong, and the word starts to spread, and word soon reaches Nick via Toya about what's happened, and he doesn't know what to say. Should he tell Sam or not? And this was the other dilemma of the week, isn't it? Should Nick tell Sam what has happened here? What did you make of this? Like Nick's decision to do a little lie. Is he right? Is he in the right?
Whenever anyone on a soap says, let's not tell the truth for the greater good, you're waiting for it to go wrong.
If this was a real situation and you had this very vulnerable kid...
You wouldn't tell him.
It's tough, isn't it?
There's no need to tell him.
It's tough because Sam had already been paranoid about Nick lying to him about bringing him to the hospital. So I thought they played into that quite well, and actually I was quite surprised how quickly he did forgive him by the end of this week. So
I thought the most heartbreaking bit of this was when Will comes out of the court and Ben hasn't been in the court because he's going to give testimony, and so he hugs Will and he's like, you did a great job, and then he finds out that Will has changed his story on the stand.
That was super heartbreaking.
And he's stuck in like a really awful position.
Yeah.
And Maggie's going, told you not to look at her.
Yeah. Nick tells Sam the barrister has just made a request for the trial to be postponed for some reason. But everything's on track, nothing's going wrong. Will's given his evidence, everything's A-okay. So Sam's kind of fairly buoyed by this news. I think
the best thing would have been to have said, I don't have any information about what happened today, and I'm sure we'll just update you at the end.
It's so difficult if you've got Sam as a son, and I think that would probably wash with many children of his age. But for Sam, he knows.
We're not gonna discuss the trial till it's over.
I don't know whether you can do that with Sam. I think he would badger it out of you.
You would have had to have asked his therapist or.
They could have said your therapist
you would have worked more closely with his therapist to say, how do we handle this? Do we tell him what's going on or what?
Yeah, I guess so, but hey, he didn't.
Well, it's more exciting this way, isn't it?
So anyway, at the courtroom, the lawyer's telling Eva and Maggie that she's going to talk to the judge later. So this is the prosecutor, this is the barrister, whatever the right word is. There's a possibility at this stage, though, that the trial may get cancelled. What they need to do is get Will back on the stand and changing his story back to his original statement. They've also got Ben's evidence later in the week, as long as the trial continues. Hopefully that'll be enough to swing it our way. And then we had that scene that you had a bit of a laugh at, where Megan and Adam come from the side room into the hall, yeah.
And then they stand in front of the door as Maggie holds abuse of them, and then they just go back through the door as though they weren't actually going anywhere or wherever it was they were going.
Let's go out the other exit.
They're like, I'm not going to the car now. I'm too scared of Maggie. I'm gonna stand and sit in the waiting room.
I was quite surprised.
She has some crisps.
I was quite surprised at what a small role Maggie had in this week, to be honest, considering how much she's been involved and how much of a stake she's had in the story going, throughout it. She wasn't questioned. She wasn't the one that stand up and made the outburst in the trial, which I was expecting her to. Well, no, I didn't want her to. I just thought she would. In the end, it was Ben that did it, which made perfect sense as the angry guy.
The trouble is, because they have to pick one person, don't they? It's just going to be the same over and over again. When everybody's as close to this as they are, you don't want Ben. Oh, here's Ben's reaction. Oh, here's Maggie's reaction. Oh, here's Eva's reaction. Here's Ollie's reaction. You have one person to represent everybody. Otherwise, it just gets repetitive. And this is the trouble, because we have loads of really strong characters and loads of really great storylines where we've all been screaming out going, I want to see so-and-so's perspective on this. I want to see Thingy and Thingy have a conversation. And you never get it because there's just no time.
Poor Ollie, though. He just he's not even allowed at the trial.
Ollie was like, can I bring my Le Creuset into this scene? Can everyone see I've got a sauté Le Creuset, please? And they were like, yeah, all right, Ollie.
As long as you stay home and look after Susie and
make sure nobody
complain about
nicks
it.
the Creuset.
So Adam is talking with Megan in the courtroom later and trying to find out if she's been in contact with Will, and she's like, no, honestly, I haven't, and I told my mum not to go and see him too. She's trying to still convince Adam that she's totally above board here, and she says, look, you can't let your feelings for Eva or this family or the link to Daniel stop you from doing your best to get me off. So she's a bit harsh to Adam there. Toya arrives at the hospital later, joins in with Nick's lies, somewhat reluctantly. So Sam's thrilled to hear that everything's going swimmingly. And then this episode ends with Adam waltzing into the pub at the end of the episode saying, basically, if Will doesn't pull his finger out, he's going to lose. And that's what I was saying earlier. He totally should have got disbarred for this. I don't think this is going to come out at all. I was expecting maybe Megan to find out about this, and maybe she could even drop him as a barrister to add a little bit more spice to the proceedings.
It wasn't just that he ill-advisedly picked a pint from the wrong place. It was that he came in and he went, here's some advice for you.
Yeah,
you're going to lose if you don't do this.
Was it important for the viewers to know that Adam's not a bad guy by making him do this?
Why bother?
I don't think that
you either get what his job is or you don't.
Yeah, I don't think that the story benefited whatsoever from him doing this. It was
dramatic, but again, it kind of is not in service of telling a realistic story that makes any sense.
But it was dramatic for a second, and then there was no follow-up from it, was there?
Well,
Will did eventually pull his finger out,
we know that
he probably would have done it anyway.
Any idiot could have told you that. You didn't need to go to law school to go, it probably is a good idea if the person who is accusing her of doing the crime went back and said, actually, she did do the crime, I said. And when I said she didn't do the crime, it was all a big fib.
I think, I think going into next week, Eva and Maggie and Ben will still hold a bit of a grudge against Adam, but I think we as viewers aren't going to be even remembering this.
I think it's very interesting how Eva is so furious with Adam, and I wonder if they are building back up to another affair between Adam and Eva.
Oh, okay.
Because we had
feelings intensifying, that they then get melded into different types of feelings.
Yeah, different feelings for different.
I hope not, because
I
really love Eva and Ben, and they had that moment. I think it was on Monday's episode where they have the little reassuring hug behind the bar. We don't see much of them, but similar to how Ed and Aggie, to me and you, I think, came across as a very, very genuine and warm and loving relationship that was developed off screen, but I totally buy it. Yeah, I think that Eva and Ben are in the same kind of vein as that, and I don't want them to be split up, but
they had
it's only a matter of time. And
they had the whole thing at Christmas with the pretend affair. Maggie thought they were having an affair and had a baby, and and just the way that Eva keeps being so cross at him feels like it could be for sowing the seeds.
Yeah, I wonder whether Adam will try to go to the pub next week and say, "Look, it was just a job."
Well, he does it every time.
I didn't really believe her anyway, but this is my job. I don't know.
There's only so many times I care about that.
It was interesting, I guess, the lack of Alia this week in this storyline, because she still hasn't quite got her head around the fact that sometimes the goodies can defend a baddie.
Yeah,
I would have thought that she would be aghast at what Adam was doing here, but hey. She was too busy. What was she doing on Fridays?
Telling Leanne that Idris, she doesn't know whether Idris is a goodie or a baddie.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, Steve and Tim come to the pub to wish Ben good luck. And Will is, he says that Will's not really said much other than he couldn't turn on Megan. And now Ben's really worried that she's going to get away with it. And then Eva comes in and she's still moaning about Adam. And then Nick bumps into Leanne in the cafe. He says she's going to go and see Sam later. And he says to her, do not tell Sam about the trial. But then when she goes to leave, Idris invites her out to lunch.
And suddenly all plans for the day disappear in a puff of...
Weather pants.
Yeah, exactly. Plans, pants, they all go.
So we back to the trial.
What a dirty
I just love how smug she is about it. I said this before, but she's so smug like that. She's the only person who's ever had a shag in her life. You know what I mean? Like, oh, me and Idris. Oh. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't understand. We do this special thing. So we're back to the trial. In the dock, Ben talks about how Will got grumpier and more reclusive because of Megan's grooming. And he also says that Will's still trying to protect her. And then Adam's like, oh, well, he was grumpy. Maybe it was because he moved from Hull and he left all his friends behind. And Ben's like, no, it was Megan. And Adam says, well, how would you know? Because Will's told the truth about that. There was no relationship. And Ben's blaming himself, saying... then that's the end of that. So then he talks to Eva and he's blaming himself about not really recognising what was going on. And Eva says that we can't give up yet. When Megan takes a stand, it's going to be obvious that, that what she's done.
Underestimating her somewhat, considering just how convincing Megan has been to everyone else and how good she was at hiding this supposed relationship.
But I also think that she's just trying to calm Ben down, because at this point there's no point in fueling his
I don't think Ben did anything wrong at this point. He was acting as the very, very protective dad. He was saying his side of things.
There's nothing he could have done differently.
No.
How would he have known?
I mean, like we said, we could have brought up more about the clues that he had that made him realise that there was something going on here, but they just didn't have time.
So,
yeah.
What?
No, nothing.
Nick brings Hope to see Sam. They're left alone to chat, and Sam's asking her about the trial, and she doesn't do a very good job of hiding what's happened.
She knows that was a seriously risky move by Nick. He can prep Hope all he wants, but trusting a 15-year-old kid not to blab, especially Hope, about what's going on in the trial there, well...
Yeah, he basically gets the truth out of her, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So, at court, Megan is she in the dock here? Mm-hmm. So she's telling Adam that, I told Will nothing can happen between us. The burner phone, that was a lie. Driscoll's made that up. I did speak to Will alone sometimes because he's been going through a lot. His family were pressuring in him, especially his dad.
This was actually a pretty good scene, having Megan pull a new lie out of the bag, didn't she? Just clever. To try and drum up some sympathy.
This was really clever because she blames Ben.
Yeah.
And she says that Ben was a professional sportsman and he wants to relive his glory days through Will and pressuring him. And he was always upset. Will felt so much pressure and he cried after races, and I was worried about him. And the family pressure made him suicidal. And Ben's like, you're a liar! And Daniel has to bundle him out of the court. So that was very, very dramatic, wasn't it?
That was dramatic. I mean, as I say, I wanted the trial to have a few more twists, and this was getting close to this. I don't think that had particularly been brought up in any scripts before, that she was going to say this, or that even there was any accusation of this.
It's a really good...
Yeah.
It's a really good thing to have said.
Yeah.
If you want to be a sneaky bitch.
But risky if there was going to be some more witnesses that were called. Like, if she had then spoken to Eva or Maggie or someone about it, they could have torn that apart. But hey, they didn't have time for that.
So, Idris and Leanne meet in the Rovers, chat a bit about Sam, and he's also buttering her up, and he wants to take her to a health spa at Chariot Square. I don't know whether they had a line about it being a birthday, but it would really make sense if that was why he was doing it.
No, he just wanted to get her out of her pants.
Basically. I heard you have to take your pants off at the Chariot Square spa. So back at the hospital, Sam has learned the truth from Hope. He is not happy at all that he's been lied to by Nick and Toya. He has a massive go at them, and Nick says that this is what I said. We were going to speak to the psychiatrist first to find out how to tell you, and he's like, I wish I'd never trusted you. Ah. So they're all back from the court, and at the pub, Steve is trying to buoy Ben up a bit. And Ben's like, I don't even know what's true anymore now. Will comes in and Ben says what Megan had said about his struggles living up to Ben's expectations.
Well, it was not just that, but it was the accusation, the lie that Megan tells about Will
being suicidal.
Exactly. I think that was the real...
Will can't believe this. Yeah. And he's like, I can't believe this is terrible. He... then later on goes to see Tim and says, I've messed everything up.
Yeah, so
what can I do?
He knew that what Megan had done was wrong, but he still saw her as like a good person, I think.
Yeah, and even maybe like we're on the same side.
Yeah,
really.
we had a connection. That connection was true, but I'm being told, and I suppose I knew it all along, but I was suppressing it, that wasn't appropriate. But I still think I still loved you as a person. I felt that you loved me as a person. But when he finds out that she's told this massive lie about him, this is when, yet again, the scales fall from his eyes. I mean, those scales have been...
on and off.
In and off a number of times, to be honest.
It's like he's got one of those pairs of glasses with the flippy sunglasses, but instead of sunglasses, they're scales.
Or a pair of varifocals, yeah.
When I look down, it's scales. When I look up, it's fine. So... yeah,
so this is the moment where he's like, oh, she completely played me for an idiot. I've been tricked. This isn't right.
Yeah.
I need to go to see my best friend, Tim.
I'm going to sort it out.
By visiting Tim.
So Sam tells Nick and Toya, get out. I'm furious. Megan's going to walk free and there's nothing I can do about it. It is all my fault. Meanwhile, Idris and Leanne go to get a room together at the hotel after their spa. And Ryan says to Idris, look, Leanne is a mate of mine. She's gone through a lot. I'm looking out for her. Don't mess her around. Yeah,
that was interesting because we had that scene earlier this year, didn't we? I think it was, where Ryan and Leanne had a bit of a moment together. And nothing's happened, but... I don't like the idea of
Leanne would eat
and
Ryan alive. I don't think there's any good... There's nothing good.
I don't feel that they're well suited.
No,
I think that...
she'd just bully him.
I think that the age...
like I do to you.
Yeah. I think that the age gap thing, well, it could... Well, I just don't see them whatsoever as a couple that would be in any way... or have anything in common, you know? But it feels like the story's going down towards Ryan's going to rescue Leanne from horrible scumbags. What did you call him?
Slumlord Smarmpants.
Yeah, Idris. and it's not working for me if that's where it is going at the moment, at least. Anyway, so
we leave Will talking to Tim. That's it.
Yeah, another. We don't see what they talk about, do they? I think it maybe could have been good to have had like that real heart to heart with Tim.
What, another one?
Yeah, well, I know you didn't enjoy the taxi scene quite as much as a lot of other people, but I think if we'd have seen wise Tim imparting his sage words to him...
No, I think it's a waste of time.
We just assume that gave him a...
It's a waste of time. We've already had that scene. We've already had it. What could he have said that would be that interesting?
Is it Tim didn't... What was that? I don't know whether there was any point in it then. Why couldn't he have just come to the decision himself? Because Tim didn't come and say...
being involved.
Yeah.
Just keep Tim being involved, because what really could he have said? Yeah, mate, you should definitely do it again.
Okay, right. Thursday rolls around and you got Will, Eva, in the Rover's kitchen, which is in giant mode at the moment. Yeah. I think they just need to keep it like that now.
Need to order some more chicken breasts.
What? Oh, you were very interested in what they've got written on their blackboard out there, weren't you?
Yeah, think about specials for the week.
When they're inside the back room of the Rovers and you see through the door to the kitchen, it always feels like that's the small kitchen they're looking into, but I guess
it's because they moved the wall. I swear they pushed that wall in
and out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder.
It's like they don't think we've got any depth perception.
The Rovers kitchen should be the size that it was this week.
At
really,
least.
For an actual pub kitchen.
For a catering kitchen.
Yeah, but the fact that they do keep going back and forth between what size it is just absolutely ridiculous. So just keep it this size, Corey, and we'll pretend that it never happened. All right, deal. Mm. So Maggie comes in and says, "Look, we're trying to find out whether Will can testify again. I've not looked into the legalities of this week. Can you go up there and say, sorry, can I try again, please?"
I've just said the wrong thing again.
I assume that you can, because I don't think Corey would have made that happen.
Really?
If it wasn't legally possible. I know that, there are stretches of credulity here, but I think that would be a fairly big one to make. Anyway, Eva says, look, Adam's not going to go easy on Will if he does it again, okay? But Ben's still feeling hopeful here. Toya and Nick, meanwhile, come to visit Sam, who is, not too pleased with them. He's crouched on the floor, he's hunched against the wall, doesn't want to talk to them. He says, look, I'm tired of being lied to by you, tired of being lied to by everyone else. Leanne, she was supposed to visit me yesterday, didn't turn up, don't know what came up there. And Toya says, look, I'll try and talk to Leanne, I'm sure she'd love to come over. How bad do you think Leanne came out of this week looking?
She just came across looking like a flibbity gibbet, didn't she?
She just had her head turned.
Yeah, exactly. By a sleazy, chancer.
Yeah, it was terrible. Considering that, did she refer to Sam as her son this week? I can't remember. She was talking about her numerous sons, only one of which she actually gave birth to.
Mean.
I know.
But I think.
I don't think that Leanne can claim Sam as a son. I think I'll give her Simon.
Hang on, let her say what she wants, but we can point out, if we would like to, that she's only known him 6 years, and that for part of the time she didn't want to know anything about him because of Ollie, which is understandable. And then for the past 2 years, she hasn't even been living in the same house as him. So she's really not had very much time. And she's not been in a relationship with Nick for a lot of that time as well.
Well, no, not since.
And he's much older than Simon was when she formed that very strong bond with him.
That's true. That's worth pointing out, yeah.
And Toya's like, what am I, chopped liver? Like, what's Toya's relationship with Sam? Is Leanne the only one who's allowed to,
So anyway, however
waifs.
strong, closer relationship the two of them have, she should... I can't believe that she would forget about him. He has been sectioned. He's going through hell.
Yeah.
But she gets invited to a sexy spa evening by the hunkies.
Midweek break because it's cheaper.
Yeah. And she completely forgets that she was supposed to see him. I'm sorry, Leanne. That's disgusting.
Oh, that's a strong word from you.
It is. And it's not just because I'm an ardent Sam defender either. You got to she's thinking with her pants, isn't she?
She's so funny because she was being right snitty with Toya and Nick later about this, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Like, giving them the cold shoulder and acting all put out by them.
And her excuse is literally, oh, sorry, I forgot.
Yeah. But yeah, this is why this heartfelt speech that she gives Idris later about all of her strong feelings for Sam and Ollie and Simon kind of feel a bit hollow.
Yeah. But I'm not complaining or criticising the storytelling for this happens, because I do think that it is quite in character.
She would do this, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know whether she would actually forget about
Sam. I don't
Sam.
think she's as...
But she is definitely driven by the bedroom.
She's had a bit of a character rehab, hasn't she? But she's been a villain at times. It's not hard to believe that she... If this was Toya, I'd find this harder to believe.
Yeah. Tori's got a bit
too
more
much
of a
goody
conscience.
two-shoes
It's not about being a goody two-shoes, supporting your sectioned son, if that's what you're going to call
so
her.
woke.
Yeah, it's like David and Shona. So yeah,
go and visit their child in hospital.
Anyway, we got another court scene later. So it's Adam telling Megan and Janine that there's been a delay. He's going to try and find out what happened. Megan's not happy with him not being able to basically just click his fingers and make this trial start. So he's already having his buttons pushed by this. Is there a court version of a bridezilla? Because this is basically what she is at the moment, isn't she? She's being incredibly demanding of her solicitor when she knows that she's lying. I suppose that's driving her snittiness, that she knows she's just fibbing all the way through this, and she's determined to. She just wants to know. She wants to get this over with.
This reminds me of like an American rom-com where the guy, the heroine fancies, is going out with a woman who seems like the perfect woman, and she's fantastic and brilliant, but then at the last minute she turns into an absolute bitch, and then it's completely justified that our heroine gets to cheat and shag this bloke even though he's going out with this other woman because it turns out she's a horrible bitch.
I wonder
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I wonder if
like in Twister, that poor woman who's just like, I don't want to die in a hurricane or a tornado, and they're all like, gosh, she's so stuck up, what a bitch. All right, go back to your big city life then. We're going to go get blown around a gale force wind.
I would hope...
Impaled by a cow.
I would hope that I'm never in a situation where I'm put on trial for anything. Obviously, I would be not guilty because, I'm Michael.
Yeah.
Perfect. Can do no wrong.
What's...
But if I were on trial,
yeah, would
I be happy for it to take as long as it needed to take?
No, I'd be panicking and going, get me out of this. I didn't do it.
It's probably down to my innate not gullibility, but trustworthiness, naivety that justice would be served. It's like, it's okay, take as long as you need to. I know that they'll find me not guilty towards the end of this, but because Megan knows that she's lying through her teeth, she wants to get and lying through your teeth for such a long period is actually quite challenging, and she just wants to be able to stop.
This is like when I'm watching an England match and they're 1-up and I'm like, stop the match, we're doing all right now.
Yeah.
She knows that she's on the up here because the last thing that happened was Will denied it. And the longer that they delay the trial, the more likely it is that he'll come back and say something different or they'll find something else.
Yeah, well, Will denied it, but then we also had Ben being dragged out of the courtroom, which calls into question
makes everyone look bad.
He made himself look like a bit of a short-tempered...
and if you're in the jury, you're thinking maybe he was. Maybe there is more to this story about her pressuring. Yeah,
exactly. So that's kind of going on there. Then we keep cutting back and forth to scenes of Leanne slagging it up with Idris in bed.
What about Idris slagging it up with Leanne?
He was. I don't know why I'm being so down on Leanne. I actually do really like Leanne as a character, but I don't like Idris, so I'm blaming Leanne on this for no particular reason.
This is what always happens, and people always say, "Oh, how come you're focusing on so and so?" It's because we don't expect anything out of Idris.
Yeah, that is the exact reason. I've got Idris's card well and truly marked, and it's an F.
Leanne gets the scrutiny because we're supposed to know her and. We have more to go on.
I hold her in higher regard, and she has higher
standards.
And
we've got more to base our opinions on. As far as we know, Idris is just a big old slag. Yeah,
exactly that. So anyway, the Driscolls arrive in court. Tim turns up too. Doesn't really have much to do, but he's there. Bless him. And Ben's like, "Oh, thank you very much for speaking to Will last night. It's really, turned him round." And he does indeed, Will, get the chance to say his piece again. The prosecutor says, "Look, relationship with Megan, was it sexual? Yes, it was," he says. "Didn't tell my family and friends about it because Megan said I could lose her job if we did it. Also, she split up with me if I blabbed, so I was kind of in a bit of a catch-22 situation there." And then Adam comes up to cross-examine him, making Will out to be a liar. Like, you said you wasn't in a relationship, now you said you are. Who are we supposed to believe here?
But at some point he was lying.
Well, exactly. One of the two is a lie.
Yeah.
So they cancel each other out, maybe? I don't know.
Let's do it again. Let's cancel this trial and do another one.
Will says, "Look, I was just scared about Megan going to prison." And he does keep this up afterwards, doesn't he? I think, despite everything, he still has got some feelings for her and cares about her as a person.
She's not going to fare well.
She doesn't deserve it, but he can't, his sympathy, but he just can't turn off those feelings completely. Because he's young, naive, etc.
I mean, he's also human, and so is she. And it's not like they split up because they fell out with each other.
Yeah. He says
kind of like what with Todd and Theo in a way. Because Todd never got closure out of that relationship. He wanted to leave him, but he didn't want him to die.
No, exactly. And he was, really knocked for six and heartbroken when Theo was found dead because the guy that he had by Sarah, just get it in there, he did have these feelings for her that don't just vanish despite
exactly
what you know about the person you're in the terrible relationship with. I mean, he does say to Adam, look, I don't need to protect her anymore, I lied, but what Megan's done is much, much worse. And he kind of gets on a bit of a roll, doesn't he? He says, she groomed me, she abused me, no matter what you or anyone else in the court has to say, that's the truth. So he is adamant now that this took place. Meanwhile, back at the sex hotel, you got Idris and Leanne saying, oh, I've booked us another night in here, ha ha ha, don't even need to put our clothes back on. He says I'm getting a second wind, which is a bit kind of moment for me.
Dirty pigs.
That's a very
judgmental.
That's a very sex negative attitude.
Yeah,
I am.
I don't think anyone should ever do it. I think everyone should live in a separate house.
No, who'd clean up after me and cook my tea?
Wash my pants. Well, I'm making tapas later.
Leah, are you? No, you're not. We got soup. We've got soup and salad for tea
minestrone
tonight.
Soup.
Without the pasta, so I wonder whether is it actually minestrone if it doesn't have pasta floating around in it.
I'm assured it possible
it could
that
be.
you could call it minestrone soup.
Okay, fair enough. Leanne goes up to freshen up in the bathroom. I think she just needs a poo or something.
Spray some deodorant off her between her legs. I don't know what she's doing in there.
Anyway, while she's in there,
maybe she's doing a poo and having a spray.
Yeah, maybe 2 in 1. She gets a phone call. Idris leans over and mutes it. Yeah.
Idris goes, thank God for that, and does a massive fart.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, sorry.
Which is why she can't hear when the phone rings initially.
Yeah, Idris stops her from finding out that she's missed her appointment.
Yeah. It's Toya, isn't it? Trying to get in touch with Leanne to say, you're supposed to have visited Sam yesterday. So Toya gets to the hotel, finds out which room she's in. She says she needed to ask Ryan, but we all know that there's only one room in that hotel anyway, so she probably didn't need to go through the trouble of that, really. She is deservedly snitty.
No, this is awful.
Leanne.
Like, Toya, oversteps completely.
Does she?
Comes to the hotel room and goes, stop having sex with your boyfriend. You've got to go and visit your kind of son.
No, Sam he's been sectioned. He's in the mental health ward. And Leanne is choosing her carnal pleasures.
She could have said to Ryan, could you ring the room for, please?
This is Toya Battersby we're talking about here, Gemma.
If
she gets the opportunity to storm in somewhere and say her piece, she's not going to do it subtly,
she should have grabbed her by the ankle and just dragged her out.
Yeah, exactly. That's the Battersby way. It's what Les would have wanted.
Anyway, she huffs off and doesn't even let Leanne put her knickknacks on.
No, she doesn't. So, yeah, Idris admits to Leanne, oh, yeah, I put your phone on silent when Toya tried to ring you earlier. I just, as I say, it was up for round 2. What can I do?
We find out later that Idris is very used to just ignoring phone calls.
Yes, that's true.
He's like, why do you answer the phone? It's normally someone trying to get you to clear black mould out of there.
So Leanne is very narked at him.
In a doghouse.
Yeah, because he is screening her phone calls and saying who she should and shouldn't talk to, and she's gives him a piece of her mind, which unfortunately by the end of the week she looks like she's
took it back again.
Yeah. So Toya gets to the hospital, has a chat with Nick, says I just found out Leanne shacked up with Idris. Then the psychiatrist comes in and says Sam's calmed down a little bit now, but he's still upset, not too talkative. Don't think that he should be released now.
Yeah, and it's all Leanne's fault.
All Leanne's fault. Well, Nick's fault really, isn't it? So he's called away.
Why?
Because Nick lied to him about the trial thing.
Oh.
Didn't he?
Everyone's to blame except Toya.
Toya gets a message from Eva, which is saying, well, actually, there's been a bit of a change of development in the trial, so everything's looking pretty peachy for the Driscolls at the moment.
This is really funny because this is what Ben was getting annoyed about.
What?
All the sisters texting each other behind his back.
Yeah.
Everybody knowing everything before he does.
Women, eh?
I know. Women and the talking.
So Leanne finally gets there. She's a little flustered. Probably a little bit, sexually frustrated as well. Unless they did have a quick round too before she popped off again.
Sam, if I sit funny, it's because I squirted icy cold deodorant up my parts and I forgot.
All for nothing. Anyway, they all sit Sam down. They tell him about Will changing his testimony. This is too much information about Leanne's intimate zones, Gemma. But
she brought it up.
She did.
I guess.
If they tell Sam about Will changing his testimony, which he thinks is great. However, when they tell him that the psychiatrist reckons he should be staying inside longer, he's like, no, I need to stay here. I'm going to get out no matter what anybody says. And this was like, yes, Sam, get out. Tunnel through that wall. Come on.
No.
Come on, lad. But it doesn't happen, does it?
I think it would be perhaps maybe an irresponsible twist.
We had that scene then at the end of the episode with Will having a bit of a jogging off the stresses of the day when, oh, look who he should bump into but Megan, who accosts him and starts kind of really pushing him around as if we needed another reminder that she was a proper
This is
Roman.
what I mean. She's just unmasked now, isn't she?
Yeah, but...
I don't know there was a need for this.
I don't think it really added anything. I thought it was a good scene. I enjoyed it. I thought it was quite tense. I thought, oh, what's going on here? How is this going to affect the story? But at the end of the day, it didn't. Other than she threatens Will and says, when I'm found not guilty, you're going to be finished. I'm going to come to you. But again, by this stage in the proceedings, I was thinking, well, you're not going to get out, are you?
Do you think that there's more to this and that it might actually come to something? Because, you were saying Janine's under the thumb. Mm. Her threatening him, going, you're finished.
I don't know.
Do you think she could send somebody? Do you think she could mess his life up? Or do you think she could try?
Janine doesn't strike me as somebody who would be bossed about by Megan from prison. I think now she knows, because up until Monday, she was under the impression that there'd been this horrific lie made up about her daughter, but she knows now that something did happen. Megan said something only happened once, but I think that the evidence that was given, which Janine sat through and heard, I think she is going to take away from that. I think even my own daughter didn't tell me the truth. So I'd like to think, no, she's not going to be coming after any of them as some kind of maternal revenge. I think she's like, daughter, you screwed up. I still love you, but you massively screwed up here, and
I'd like there to be more to it, that's all.
I would as well, because I enjoyed the character of Megan's mum. I'd be disappointed if this week was all we see of her. But I don't think, particularly after today's episode, there's really that much of a need for her. But I'd also say...
What about Jimmy Savile's mum?
I would have thought...
He called her the Duchess,
Oh, she did. He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that this week could have worked just as effectively without Megan's mum, which makes me think that there could be something else that comes afterwards, but I still enjoyed her anyway, so I'm satisfied either way.
Headlines next week. Megan's mum makes move for romantic partner, and it's someone who's already on the street.
Yeah, maybe she will be a rival for Christina and she'll go after George.
Yeah,
you might be right.
George, yeah, maybe.
Anyway, that was it for that episode, wasn't it? That was Thursday. Friday, Gemma, how do you want to give her the grand finale of the trial?
Yeah, I mean, there was just that bit about Maggie trying to tell Ben that he's not a bad dad, etc., etc.
Oh yeah, that was a nice
Friday,
little
it's very early when it seems like it's very early because the pub's not open yet, and the barrister calls Ben to say they're ready to deliver a verdict. God, you can't do nothing when somebody's on trial, can you? It's like, well, sorry, but I've got stuff to do. Can they not wait for later? Because I was going to come about 4. Is that all right?
He's just desperate to find out, isn't he?
Well, they
I think
always...
at this stage, when the closing remarks have been made, you just want to hurry it up.
Yeah, they don't normally go that late, do they?
No.
They don't do very much work, these courts. If you ask me, they're like schools.
Oh yeah.
Finish at 3. So Idris tries to call Leanne, she's ignoring it, and Alia thinks it's funny, and then Leanne says, Idris owes me an apology, and Ali's like, oh, he doesn't really apologise about anything.
Which he actually did by the end of the episode.
He must really love her.
Leanne is very special to Idris, yes.
So Nick, Toya and Leanne bump into each other in the cafe, and Leanne's still trying to, like, give them, you know, being a bitch to them about daring to question why she was shagging in a hotel when she should have been going to see Sam.
I did enjoy it because there was just an awful lot of snittiness from Leanne directed at Nick, wasn't there?
Yeah, I don't know why though. It gave her, you know, the idea that she was.
It was we're exes, and I'm going to treat you like one. I'm
so fed up with that. She goes to the hospital, and Sam's happy to see her, but he's still mad about Nick. And then they say, "Don't say mad," because we're in a.
Yeah, Leanne says, don't worry so much about your dad. He was just doing the best thing for you, or something along those lines.
And Nick, loves you. And Sam's like, but when can a lie be the right thing to do? And Leanne's like, just whatever you do, don't ask Roy about this, because you're not going to get any less confused by that conversation. Leanne says sentencing is going to be today if she's found not guilty. And Sam is worried that the judge is going to not give her a long sentence as she deserves.
Yeah, he's been doing a bit of research about this, hasn't he? Which is very much...
a thing to do.
On point for Sam.
So
he knows exactly how long she'll get.
Two verdicts, and they're both guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And then Megan's like... You're a liar. Well, you lied about this. I wouldn't have ever touched you. I'm like a real man. I'm going to appeal this.
Yeah, she's still
Mum,
claiming...
Mum, don't let them take me. Mum, help me.
She's still claiming innocence. She doesn't, like, give it all up and said, yes, it's true, I did it.
She doesn't throw powder on the floor and transform into the Wicked Witch of the West.
No.
So she gets dragged down, doesn't she?
Yeah, down to the underbelly of the court.
And
that's the last that we saw of her.
Mum's devastated, obviously. She's sentenced to 5 years, and they make a comment about the fact that because of a new law, she's not going to serve only half, she's going to serve 3/4.
Did you know what that law is? Because I've not looked into
Megan's law. No, I don't know. But I also very much doubt it, because I've seen that the prisons are overcrowded and people are being let out. There was a woman on, I can't remember, on Twitter from like Channel 4 or a news programme saying that her father raped her when she was a child, and he's being let out early.
Oh, really?
Because there's no room.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe for a minute she's going to be in there for very long.
Do you think there's any...
I think you can make room for paedophiles, though. What do you think? And rapists. I think there's some people in there that could be let out early, and other people that we need to, you know...
Do you think there's any temptation among the fine folk at Coronation Street at saying, let's bring her back in 3 years?
No.
Or is her story over and done with now?
Well, I don't know.
I almost get a feeling like she's going to be killed off screen or something, like Kirsty was.
Becky and Becky kills her.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a bit like Nathan. He came back very, very briefly for that story with Lauren's disappearance the other year.
Yeah.
It's a shame because Beth Nixon has really brought her A game to this character, hasn't she?
She's great.
She's been absolutely stupendous in her performance. She's been so good at Sweetness and Light 1 minute, dastardly and villainous, and really kind of quite intimidating the next. And the thing is, prison is supposed to be there to reform you. Would it be an interesting story if she came out in 3 years
as a nun?
Not as a nun, but as a changed person, as somebody who says, like, I've served my time. I don't know, once you're on the sex offenders list, you're on the sex offenders list. But could it be an interesting story for her to say, I have changed? Honestly, I want to be a good person now.
We're not ready for that.
Do you reckon not?
No.
Still not yet?
Nope.
Yeah,
no,
I think you're right.
No,
I've just thrown it out there as an option, but I don't think that would go down too well.
I'm very excited to see what she does next.
Megan.
Beth Nixon.
Oh, Beth Nixon, yeah. Well, we know what she's done next. She's dyed her hair, hasn't she? She's gone a little bit redhead, actually.
What's she up to?
So I remember, which kind of gave away a little bit if you follow Beth Nixon on social media, around about what point she would not be returning to the show anymore, unless it's part of her disguise, I suppose, if she escapes and goes undercover, but I doubt that very much.
It's not cool going undercover when you're on the run.
But yeah, I am also very intrigued to see what Beth does next. I would, might be interested in watching that, actually. Yeah.
So, everyone's happy.
Apart from Beth. I mean, she's probably...
Beth's like, great, yeah.
She's Megan.
Megan's dead. Megan's in prison. Then we get Mary bringing Leanne a big bouquet of very autumnal-looking flowers as an apology.
What was it? You said black lilies and...
like it.
Something else?
Like orange chrysanthemums, maybe. I don't know.
I said it was marigolds, but...
It wasn't marigolds.
I don't think that cost upwards of £60.
Over £60, easily. So she's like slightly won over, but she's not going to be too easy like she was yesterday.
Yeah. Leanne and not too easy. They don't go together. You don't hear that in a sentence very much, do you?
Judgmental of female sexuality. Nick goes to see Sam and says, "Look, I know that you had to do this, but I don't approve of your lies. But I know you thought you were doing the right thing. I don't think I'm ready to go home either. Actually, I can't live life like it's spinning out of control." And then
he must be really, really kind of meaning this, because most kids would be like, more time off school, yeah, keep me here, I'm fine.
I don't think
I'm okay,
so.
but
No.
Sam was like,
I
must go back to school.
You're in hospital.
He hasn't got a phone, but I suppose he's been training himself for not having a phone for a while, hasn't he?
That's true. So Toya turns up and says, Megan's got 5 years, and he's a bit deflated. And then he says, we're both locked up, only one of us is a liar, and only one of us will be going home soon. Very philosophical. So Leanne is in speed dial with Alia having the most boring conversation about suppliers when Idris comes in, and she says to him, I can't believe what you did yesterday. Sam's my whole world, and you tricked me into having sex with you and forgetting about him. And he tells she tells him her story about the fact that Simon's gone to have a fun life floating around the Mediterranean with a former alcoholic, and Bobby.
Oh yeah, I forgot Bobby's there with him, isn't he?
And she also says Ollie, she tells Ollie, my son, he died, he was only 3. She doesn't say she was in a cult, which is an interesting omission. And that's why I was so upset yesterday. And Idris says, I understand, I'm more sorry than you'll ever know, which is interesting. And is that a Dark's, backstory? He's not gonna...
I don't know.
I also
just don't
had
know
a son.
with Idris.
So his phone is ringing, and it turns out to be Abby. And are we going to bring this up now? Or
Yeah, because this is the story. I mean, earlier on, I didn't write it down. We see Abby getting a little bit irate on the phone, don't we? She's trying to get in touch with the landlord for their skanky flat that she lives in, because there's mould all over the place. And she's like, they never do anything about it. Alfie's sick. Why are they so useless at getting in touch with the tenants? And this is the scene where it's later revealed.
Yeah, Leanne's going, I go around there and march up to him and tell him what I think. He's probably lived in a swanky flat in Cheadle. You've got to doorstop him. You've got to tell him what's really going on. And she realises that actually it's her beloved Idris who is the scumbag landlord.
Yeah, I mean, talk about soap coincidences. The fact that she was literally 2 metres away from him when she turned out to be ringing him up.
Abby phoned him and he picked the phone up and said hello. And
I did think that was... I didn't see those storylines crossing. Not that there had been much of the Abby storyline up until this part, but when he picked up the phone, I was like, oh, it's him. So I appreciated that little twist.
The only other thing that happened in that story is that she then tells Alfie a story about how wonderful his life is going to be, while he coughs like a Victorian orphan. I was thinking that top of a mound of black mould.
Yeah, I was thinking that she maybe wasn't going to notice, despite that it was very, very obvious to us as viewers. But she did, and
take you to the doctor tomorrow.
I don't know whether she knows that there's all the mould under the bed. She said that the house has got mould in it, but if she knows that it's right under his bed,
you wouldn't
move the bed.
I don't think she knows, but she could look under there.
Yeah.
She hasn't cleaned under there, has she?
Yeah, clearly not. She's not
Hasn't done the skating boards.
She's not been looking under and checking for monsters for him. So bad
How
mum,
awful.
I say.
I feel so sorry for anyone in this situation. I know Anthony Cotton does a lot of stuff, advocacy for people in the armed forces who are living in really terrible conditions that are provided by the MOD, I guess. But anyone who's trapped somewhere and they can't get their bloody landlord to do, it's just horrific. Imagine living somewhere. It's bad enough when, like, sometimes stuff happens in this house and you just feel so, what's the word? Like, violated by the fact this is your home.
Yeah.
And something is making you sick in your home and you can't do anything about it. It's horrific.
Makes me wonder, like, is this going to be a problem with the other houses on the precinct? Or the flats on the precinct, sorry, because you got Sean living there at the moment with Dylan as well, don't you?
I don't know. I think it...
Was it just this
I'd
one?
be
This is the
happy if
skanky
this
flat.
was an actual issues-based storyline that feels like actually something that people... is interesting, hasn't really been done on Coronation Street before, and could actually, you know, get people talking about something and maybe actually affect change.
And it features Abby as well, which can't be a bad thing. And I know that last year's Big Abby story certainly was a bad thing for me, but her being a mum, more of Alfie. Alfie's quite cute, and you know the one final lingering speck of Imran that we have on the street.
I know.
So I hope he's okay.
Yeah,
hope he doesn't croak it.
You know, saying all of that, I don't care about another sick child storyline.
No,
Every single child has had some kind of sickness now.
Feels like it goes that way.
I mean, even Hope had cancer and she was going to die. Can we stop now?
Yeah.
Can we just make children not die?
I don't know what story can come out of this other than Abby versus Idris, which, as a former Abby mega fan of, I still like her.
Yes.
But I don't love her as much since last year. And also I'm not so sure about Idrissa, then to see the two of them lock horns.
I can't
and it
see.
could mean, you know, fighting between Abby and Leanne. That could be entertaining.
I can't see Leanne ever taking Idris's side to go, well, so what, Black Mould?
Well, especially, yeah, like you said, my son, who was... How old's Alfie? Thingy was he 3, Ollie? I can't remember,
3.
roughly. And Alfie, yeah, it must be similar, 3-4 years old.
Yeah.
So Leanne's going to say, I can't believe that you are letting this child, it's your fault that this kid is, you know, on the brink of death it'll probably get to.
Yeah, I mean, it could
but
be
the thing is, knowing what
lifelong
Leanne...
effects.
Yeah, the thing is, the way that Leanne is, she'll probably quickly forgive him if he, you know, flashes her a bit of a smile and... shows him his pecs, you know. So show his pecs.
Have you seen my nipples? Look at this. You can get 700 likes on TikTok.
Yeah. Only 200 on YouTube, though.
Well, views, not likes. No, I just can't see her taking Idris's side on this.
It's going to have a little bump, but they will be back to bumping nasties before long.
Not just the you know, the moral outrage of a child being harmed by somebody penny pinching, but Leanne and Toya both had a really traumatic childhood of bouncing around council places when they were kids and not having a home and probably living in crap holes.
Yeah, absolutely. The Battersbys would have lived in somewhere, you know, the number 5, even when they lived there, was an absolute skank pit for some of it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I'm sure it was Buckingham Palace compared to where they came to before they lived in Coronation Street.
Coronation Street is a cut above, to be honest. Yeah, I think I can't see this going anywhere, because if Idris really is besotted with Leanne, he's not going to blink at remedial work to get rid of the black mould from Abby's flat. Why would he cause a fuss about it?
I really don't know where they're going with Idris, because part of me feels like the show is trying to make us like him as the charming rogue type figure. But yet they keep throwing stuff at us that is
really
just
horrible.
He is a real scumbag. He's got some kind of criminal connection somewhere, or
he's going to get Brody in trouble.
He's going to get Brody in trouble, or he's, you know, throwing tenants out unlawfully.
Yeah, he's got skanky places that make children sick. What was the other thing he did? I just thought of it and I've forgotten.
But what is there to like about him, unless you like washboard abs? I don't know. Has it gone out of your head now what else he's done?
He did something else that was quite bad.
He made fun of...
that's it. He made fun of Daniel.
When he was going through his trauma.
Look.
When he was
let's just admit this, right? if you found a video of somebody having a meltdown on Twitter, you would show your friends and go, look at this, isn't this funny?
I mean,
you don't say it to your friends. You don't say it to people you just met.
Public freakout on Reddit is a popular forum, I'm sure.
It's not called... public freakouts. Yeah. That's a classic.
Yeah.
But you don't go like, hey, new friend I've never known before. Oh, actually, this person looks exactly like you. That's a bit of a coincidence. No.
The Driscoll story just kind of has a satisfying conclusion to it, doesn't it? Which is, again, makes me think that they're putting this to rest now. Yeah,
Ollie and Will have this conversation where Will's saying, oh, I'm worried about her, and Ollie says, look...
Well, worried about Megan,
yeah. Yeah. Don't let this... It's not going to define you. It's going to define her. You just get on with your life and find... Just do your GCSEs, find a girlfriend, put it behind you. And then the Driscolls then have to kind of face the public, but everyone's on their side, so it's not really that big of a deal.
No.
And Ben's like, look, we're Driscolls. We're jelly. We wobble. We don't run. Apart from Will.
Yeah, Will's really good at running.
Will's like, oh, this explains why I was having all those issues.
He says, we wobble, but we never fall. The Driscoll family words, that is, isn't it?
Oh,
and I thought that was a nice kind of, we've made it through. Throughout this storyline, we've had Maggie being thrown out of the house twice. We've had Will angry at us. We've had all sorts of falling outs, but now we are united, and I think that's where this story needed to end.
Yeah,
and was a nice strong ending for the characters. That for now they are united again, particularly as the Driscolls have always, had that air of we stand together, together strong.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really nice ending to it, and I get a little bit sad it's over, to be honest, because it's been as we've said many times before, an unexpectedly exciting saga to watch, and just mega props to all the actors involved with their first story on Cora. You got Lucas, who plays Will, Beth Nixon, we've said, can't help but sing her praises.
Especially considering how even we, who tried to be positive, were like, no, I'm not happy about this. Very
right at the beginning, we were
trepidatious.
I was really flying the flags for those Driscolls to do well, but it was difficult.
Do this story?
Yeah.
What with these characters we don't know? Who cares? And they really turned it around. What a fantastic job! And I don't mind being wrong about things like that at all.
No,
in fact, I'd rather be wrong.
Very happy to be wrong about this story not being the best thing to start the Driscolls off with. It was actually very, very good.
So here's Will's motto: I don't wobble, I run.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go. We got there in the end, didn't we?
Right. We will see whether there is anything more to this or whether that is indeed it, but I'm sure that there's plenty more Driscoll drama to come in the future.
Yeah, what's going to be their next story? Do you think Ollie's got to have a go, right?
Ollie's got to have a go,
Who's he going to go out? He's got to go out with someone.
Is he still going out with Lauren? I don't really know. Lauren had a couple of scenes this week, didn't she, where she was
being sarky bitch.
Sarking around,
She's
still somehow clinging on to her job.
She's growing on me.
Is she? Is she really?
Because I think Kate Fitton is... I love her. I think she's great. I want her character to be popular.
It's just so difficult because her defining character trait at the moment is sarky cow.
There's not really a reason that it shouldn't work other than she's too young. I think that's the thing that's holding her back, because we've had many a sarky barmaid.
I mean, Betty had...
Yeah, Betty was a raging bitch.
But she did have a lot of clout and experience behind her that counted for a lot, and Lauren doesn't have that.
Manchester's oldest barmaid.
Second oldest.
So you can be as bitchy as you like.
You've earned that.
Exactly.
Lauren doesn't feel like she has.
Earned it, no.
She feels like she's kind of swanning in, thinking she's Lady Muck, when actually she's just Muck.
Oh, mean. Where's she living? Is she living in the same flats as Abby?
I can't remember off the top of my head where Lauren's living at the moment.
Do you think Idris owns all of those flats? Not necessarily.
I don't know. I mean, he's only just moved in, hasn't he? But I don't know whether moving into the area he's taken over a bunch of flats, or whether he's always supposedly been the landlord there. Not sure. Is he the Mr. Wormold of the 2020s? Because Mr. Wormold was the OG,
the slumlord.
Yeah.
Smarm pants.
Back in the 1960s of the Coronation Street terrace. But anyway, must move on to a different storyline, and we got the Lou Dunnett storyline, the Sarah Lou Dunnett, which I kind of it was on, but I can't say that I was finding particularly thrilling.
No, they didn't capture any.
It was a lot of Sarah versus Jodie this week, wasn't it? And the stalemate that they found themselves in. So she's kind of had a bit of a sleep on the sofa on the beginning of Tuesday's episode. She's got a hangover after last week's drunken debauchery, but she's got to get up to see young Harry's play later. And we had that scene where Harry was walking down the street in full costume. Like, how old's this kid now? Is he 10? I think they've said he's in year 6. And that was a bold move for Harry to be walking down the streets of Weatherfield in full-on Tin Man costume, wasn't it?
Well, no kid would want to wear that out, would they? They'd want to change.
We also, and then maybe this is a bit mean of us, but Jodie was working hard on that costume, wasn't she? And they made a really big deal of, we got to make this Tin Man costume, it's got to look good. Jodie's like, don't worry, I'm an expert seamstress of school costumes. But actually, it just looked a little bit naff, didn't it?
She did a fantastic job of making what was clearly an axe into an axe covered in tinfoil.
Yeah.
She made
that would have been a story, wouldn't it? What if Harry had just gone postal with his axe in the middle of the play?
Yeah, what would you do if you were... I mean, don't answer this, again, because I don't want to put you in a difficult position, but imagine if you're a primary school teacher and the kids brought in this... You know, I'm the Tin Man, I've got to have an axe. And you're like, brilliant work. And then halfway through the play, you realise it's actually an axe just covered in tinfoil. What do you do?
Well,
you got to fill out a form.
I blame the whoever's in charge of the play for this, because really they should have been checking the props. We do have weapons in our year 6 production this year. We've got a knife that goes in, a little retractable knife, a classic. We've got some blow up swords.
Wow.
But yeah, nothing actually dangerous.
Yeah, she made this funnel hat and then she just gave up.
She made a funnel hat, covered it in tinfoil. She got a baking tray, stuck it on his front. I said last week the heart was quite good, but I kind of thought
Take it back now.
Well, no, it was still a fairly decent heart, but I thought that the heart was just a little accessory. But no, actually, that was one of the main things that she made.
Can we point out the heart shouldn't even be there until the end of the play?
Well, the play is over at this point.
Wow.
He's been presented it by the wizard, and he's parading it proudly down the streets of Weatherfield.
It was inside him all along, because it really is just a crappy little prop.
Yeah.
But the heart was within him. That's the moral of the story.
The Tin Man always actually had heart, yeah. Anyway, he was the best, apparently, at least according to Sarah Louise and Kit.
It must have looked absolutely crap.
When she sees Jodie, this is Sarah Louise, she makes out that she's got a headache and says, I can't go to the bistro, Kit, you take Harry there for a special treat of a meal. And she goes after her.
Can I give props to Kit here? Because he doesn't know this kid.
What do you mean? They've been living together.
They've been living together for how long?
A good few months.
Right, so you've lived with this 10-year-old boy for a few months, right?
If this was Leanne, she'd have already claimed him as her son.
She's like, I've adopted you. Did you know that? Here's the paperwork. Sign it, please. No, I give him props for this because I think it's really good of him that he doesn't really know Harry. I'm sorry, but he doesn't really know him that well. He's been living with him for a few months and he's perfectly fine to take it. I'm telling you, loads of blokes wouldn't be good with this. He's taking his girlfriend's son to a meal. And he's not moaning about it or saying let's do it another time. He's really good with him and he takes him in. I think Kit is one of the most misunderstood characters because he is an absolute dick when it comes to being a police officer, but he's actually a solid guy.
Well, he is. I mean, he wasn't sure about having Brodie as a son, was he? It was a bit of a...
Well, do you think that maybe softened him to all
the
children?
idea of parenthood. And it's certainly showing the difference between him and Carl, because when Carl was in this situation looking after Alfie when he was going out with Abby, he didn't want anything to do with him.
Do you think that Carl would have gone, yeah, cool, me and Alfie will go for a meal?
No, exactly not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think Kit doesn't get credit sometimes.
Yeah, I think that he did a good job.
Yeah, maybe we should live in a world where you don't even question this, but we don't live in that world. We live in a world where lots of people would be like, nah, you look after him then, I'm going home.
Well, she's about to have a word with Jodie as Sarah Louise when Lisa rolls up in a police car, says, I need a word with you about the attack, Sarah. And they invite her in. So with Jodie pottering around in the kitchen, her ears are flapping.
This is the Platt's house, isn't it?
Yeah. Lisa she has an informal chat with Sarah about the night that she was clonked on the head, and do you remember anything more about it? And Sarah's like, no. Like, at the end of last week, Sarah had figured out that Jodie knows more than she's letting on, didn't she? Because of Jodie mentioning about the dog barking. But for now, she thinks it's probably for the best that she keeps quiet about that. And she says, look, Lisa says that I remember you leaving the factory on the night of our wedding. Then you say you came back to the house at 9:10. I saw some people have tried to put together a timeline of what happened on this night, and apparently there's a very, very, very long list of things that have supposedly happened within a 5-minute time frame. Really? I think it is.
Where have you seen this?
I can't remember whether it was Reddit or whether it was Digital Spy,
I want to see.
Yeah, there's just a bit of a timeline, and I've not dug that deeply into it because it would probably frustrate me. But hey, coincidences can happen. Anyway, Lisa says, you told me that you came back to the house at 9:10. And Sarah's like, yeah, 9:10, it 100% was. I looked at my watch as I went in, and this is making Jodie's eyes go all a flicker because she knows it wasn't 9:10. So why on earth would Sarah be saying it unless she's got something to hide? So Lisa's like, well, if there's anything else that springs to your mind, just let us know. That's what we're here for. So Jodie sees her out. And Sarah then has to admit to Jodie that she does know more than she let on to Lisa, and says, well, let's go back to this conversation we had last week. David the dog barking. How do you know about that, eh? And Jodie's like, well, dogs bark. I just kind of guessed. And Sarah says, no, you knew what was happening. You knew what happened when I was hit over the head. And the only way that that's possible is if you were the one that did the bonking. And Jodie's like, no, it wasn't me what bonked you on the head.
Jodie says, I thought that everyone liked that on this show.
Not that kind of bonking.
Oh, God.
And Sarah says...
I'm supposed to know the difference.
Sarah says... she says, well, look, we're stalemate now. If you go to the police, I'm going to tell them that you've been lying about when it happened. So, yeah, they kind of have to agree that neither of them can dob the other person in at the moment.
Well, I liked what Jodie said, because she's like, you're obviously hiding something, and I'm going to find out, because I always find out.
Yes. So
I don't think she does.
Who
Do
knows?
you? What's she basing that on? Being a nanny and working out which kid ate the cookies?
So Sarah's, after the break, or the second episode, or whatever you want to call it, is having very urgent whispers around Gary about what's happened with Jodie, but she has to go off to work, and he says, look, it's all going to be okay, I promise.
He's so sick of this.
He's just being cool about it.
He's like, delete my number off your phone.
He just wishes he'd never been involved.
Never want to talk to you again.
Mm-hmm. So Sarah goes back to see Jodie later and says, well, so what that I got the time wrong? It's no big deal. I saw your magic box, actually, which was interesting because we'd been speaking recently about how much does she remember about what happened on the night? If she doesn't remember the box, did she remember killing Theo? Well, clearly she must have done.
She remembers now.
I
don't think she remembered at the time, but I think she remembers everything.
Well, she remembers the box, but she says, I don't remember what was in it, which is a bit of a shame. So maybe that's going to bubble to the surface at some point. I don't know.
Why is she so confident that the police would give a crap about this box? Well, everyone's got boxes of crap. What are you talking about?
Has she realised that the only reason that Jodie would have hit her over the head
was because she was
looking in a secret box?
Well, the police don't care.
I don't think they particularly talk too much about this, unless I'm remembering it wrong. Sarah's accusing her of hitting her, but not.
But don't forget that Shona had a magic box, and in that box was the picture that Jodie drew with a dog in it.
I thought you were talking about Shona had a magic box, and inside was herself getting shot.
Yeah.
It's a different box.
But
the Ramseys are all about their boxes, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But that doesn't mean the police care. The police aren't going to go, oh, what, you lied to your sister about not getting a letter? Oh, go to prison.
And how is it 2 weeks, 3 weeks away from Jodie getting the gun? I can't remember now. But that's still very much MIA, isn't it?
Well, it's probably in the box.
It probably is in the box. But what we don't see this week is Jodie hurriedly trying to find another hiding place for the box. Unless maybe she's been sensible and put it away from the house.
Really surprised we haven't had any scenes of Jodie opening the box, getting out the gun, looking at the gun and putting the gun back in the box.
For the benefit of the audience.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's been too much other drama going on for that, Gemma, with the trial and everything. Speaking of drama, there's a little mini adventure with Doggy David going missing, isn't there, in that episode? But nothing really.
Doesn't David call him sweetheart as well?
Oh, yeah.
David, sweetheart.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Funny.
They find the dog.
They find the dog. Sarah goes to the pub and tells Jodie, look, you better keep quiet about your wild theories about what I was doing on the night Theo was murdered, or I'm going to tell the police that you attacked me.
I definitely didn't murder Theo.
Definitely not. So Wednesday, we just had a couple of scenes. Sarah trying to avoid Jodie. She comes into the cafe and Jodie's working there, so she
goes away.
Does a 180 and goes away. David notices this and says to Sarah later, what's the score with you and Jodie? I can see there's something going odd afoot here. And Sarah says, no, honestly, you're just being paranoid. Nothing's going on. And then finally, we had yesterday's episode, Thursday. Again, just a couple of scenes. This is such a C story this week. Kit comes into the pub. Lauren tries to get a bit of goss on who killed Theo, but goes away empty-handed. And then David comes up to Kit and says, look, I'm really worried about Sarah, actually. She's acting very weird. This was the scene which had the two characters taking pot shots at each other for their extremes of height, shall we say. Not that David's a total dwarf, but he's like me, isn't he? David's 5'7", I think. I think he's about the same. And he's saying to Kit, how's the weather up there? Which I'm sure all tall people absolutely hate hearing. And I think Kit actually came off better when he asked David if he wants a short, because I think that was a more original line. And he's asking him for a drink. But you didn't like that.
He could get a job at Starbucks.
That's where we have shorts, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway.
Maybe he was going to record a short about what happened in that episode.
Oh, yeah. Who would do such a thing? Kit comes to the factory later to take Sarah for this impromptu dinner. Says David's worried about her. So I thought I'd do something nice. And Sarah's like, oh, I don't want to be interrogated here. That's the last thing that I need. So, yeah, Kit is potentially onto her at the moment. So Sarah's job at the moment, I guess, is to try and act as normal as possible.
Good luck.
To try and throw him off the scent.
I really would love it if Kit found out and helped her cover it up.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely
because
on brand for him.
I know that not everyone, most people don't like it. But I'm really... Kit and Sarah being together actually is really growing on me because of how he is with Harry.
I mean... as loath as I am to admit it, maybe I'm in the same boat as that. I don't love him, but I am. It's definitely better than Adam.
I don't want her to get back together with Gary because I think I prefer Gary and Maria, even though they don't get anything to do.
Yeah.
But nobody gets anything to do on Coronation Street.
I'm willing to give
Jodie.
give the relationship a try, but it's really, really difficult to shake my innate distaste of all things Kit, and we've had enough time to, get rid of our early impressions. But,
I'm sorry, I think Kit is great. I know that everyone hates me because I like Kit. But
no, Kit is a really popular character.
Not amongst Swala fans. They don't like him, but I will point out that they have this very interesting relationship, and it is like a kind of sibling rivalry, but not on the same immature level as you get with like the Platt family, for example.
I think if I were if Corrie wanted to do more to make me like the relationship, they'd have them doing more things that are just nice coupley scenes and not anything to do with murders or general police work. Yeah.
Well, there's no time for anything.
Just give them more. We are a normal couple scene, and not we're a couple of one of us is acting suspicious.
So the thing about Kit is that he's a bloke. He's a blokey bloke, right?
Very true.
He's a kind of drink beer out of a bottle, watch football, wear boring man clothes, and my side table is a barrel, kind of a blokey bloke. And Sarah likes that.
Yeah, she does.
So they're perfect match.
Well, time will tell, won't it?
Right.
Time will tell.
Is this the last story?
Yeah. Oh no, there's slightly.
Okay, so we
Asha,
get a bit of
Asha.
So on Tuesday, someone is still in weird mode, isn't she?
Yeah.
She is telling Nina, Asha and Amy she got tickets to a show or something, and they think it sounds weird and ropey, and Nina's like, you got to calm down a bit because you seem a bit manic almost. And someone's like, oh, you buzzkill. But then the people that she was supposed to be going out with just kind of dump her, and she's left with this bill, which makes no sense to me at all, because this is her local, right? The people that work there know who she is, and the people on the table next to these people that walked off also know that they have walked off without paying. Everyone stitched Summer up here, and she comes out the door and they're like, oh yeah, they just left without paying, we couldn't do anything about it. Really? So she tries to make out that, you know, she gets fed up with this, Summer does, being treated like a doormat, and she says, I'm sick of being a statue, from now on I'm going to be the pigeon. What did you think about that line?
I don't think I really got it, to be honest.
Well, the statue is the one that gets crapped upon by the pigeon.
Right.
So she was going to be the crappy.
That's a bit of a revolutionary statement from Summer, isn't it?
She's never going to crap on anyone, is she? What's she going to do? She's not that kind of a person. Right, so Summer goes to the cafe because she's been invited for brunch by the girls, but it turns out it's a bit of an intervention.
Not dunch.
No, it's
didn't catch on as much as Ryan wanted it to.
It wasn't Ryan, it was blooming Jodie that's trying to make it a thing.
Well, no, she wasn't she didn't want to make it a thing. She thought it was stupid. It was Ryan's idea, wasn't it?
No, she was bigging it up, saying it's the most hilarious thing she's ever heard.
Yeah, but she didn't mean it.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm saying, Ryan...
I watched it.
It was Ryan's idea to call it dunge.
Alright. So...
It's probably on the menu at Chariot Square now, isn't it?
Summer twigs it's an intervention, and they say, you've been overdoing it, but then Mary comes over and kind of derails everything. Yeah,
she comes in and just inserts herself in. Like, I'm young as well. Hey, everybody. Ben Shepherd, eh? Whoa.
You've written that this is Asha and Sienna's story, but it wasn't really, because the only time that really came into it was when Sienna comes in because she's got a date and she gets stood up, and so everyone tells Asha to go and sit with her instead. I
must admit that when I labelled this as an Asha and Sienna story, I was expecting it to go further than Tuesday, but it didn't, did it?
No. And just to remind everybody that Sienna was Asha's old work supervisor.
Yeah, she was the older,
and Asha fancied her.
Yeah, the colleague.
Yeah, well, she was her kind of boss.
Any particular thoughts about the potential of these two getting together?
Is very sweet. I like the pair of them together. I can't see where it's going because I can't see Sienna being a main character. No,
nor can I, but we said the same about Lisa Swain, didn't we? Well, maybe we didn't, but we all thought it because that's the sort of character that never gets made into a main character.
It'd be fine, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but again, we've got many characters.
I'm wondering whether, because I think it's okay to say now that Tanisha Gorey said in an interview a few weeks ago that there would be a kind of romance love story for her coming up.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
Yeah, she didn't say a whole lot more than that. There was a little bit that I'm not going to say. I was wondering, are they ever going to explore the fact that Asha is also into boys again? Because that's the thing, isn't it? Asha and Nina have both had fairly serious relationships with boys in the past, but it seems like it from for the longest time now it's like she's only been interested in women.
Get with the times, Michael.
Well, I am. I'm trying to say why they're erasing bisexuality in Coronation Street.
How are they erasing bisexuality?
By not making her fancy boys anymore.
But no, this is what bisexual people have to deal with all the time. Is that the person you're currently going out with doesn't define your entire sexuality, but people don't seem to understand that they get really mad, especially if you're with the person of the opposite sex, they kind of feel as though it completely erases your bisexuality. It doesn't.
No,
if you're actually bisexual, then you go out with boys and girls.
I think Asha should base her relationship on how to best seat children in a classroom. Boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl.
Okay, so what's she on now then? Is she on girl now?
She's on girl now.
Well, then it's fine. It's girl on girl.
No, but last one was girl.
That's what I said. What's she on now? And you said girl.
Yeah, but who she had before was a girl. She's done girl.
That's what I said though, and you said girl. So now it's boy is what you mean.
Matter.
Just fit a boy in. Just go right.
Asha can go out with whoever she likes. As long as it's a good story, I'm happy.
Just say, I'm sorry, Sienna, but it's boy, girl.
Yeah, can I just
I'm
go
just
out
going
with
to go
someone
out
else?
with
Can
a
you be on
boy
hold
very
with
briefly.
me? Yeah, just for like...
For Michael.
For the night.
You know what he's like. He doesn't get it.
Right, that was that story. I'm
the only thing
a little bit intrigued about
I want to
Summer.
criticise about Asha and Nina is that I just wish that they would say I'm bisexual or something.
Yeah.
Because not because anyone who is has to say anything, but because of historically on the show, them completely erasing bisexuality. And I think in media generally, I don't think it is an unknown fact that bisexuality is completely like taboo almost. I would love anybody to just say I'm bisexual.
Yeah, I mean, we did have...
And we'll all just deal with it.
We did have
please.
Carl last year, didn't we? Who was rotting away
true.
with both James and Abby. But he didn't... I don't think he
nobody
defined
said.
himself as a bisexual. He called himself, what was it, a free-spirited hedonist or something.
I do know that people don't like labels. I totally get that. I really, really get that. But I'm going to say that there's been nothing but no labels for these characters. And it would be really nice if people who actually don't mind that label and use it freely used it. Or, could see somebody using it on screen,
Maybe in this story, right? Asha's going out with Sienna.
Where are we going?
And she meets Sienna's brother and actually fancies him more. There's a storyline for you.
What would you call it?
I don't know. I'd have to think a little bit
right,
more. It depends what the brother's name is.
You have to run it past me, whatever it is.
Like Asha going out with Sienna is fine, but at the moment it's not. Well, that's going to be a great story. It's just a thing that is happening to characters. To be honest, I was also a lot more interested in what's going on with Asha and Nina move in together. That's what I really enjoyed last week. The potential of those two sharing the flat together, which nothing has happened with this week.
I know. They just got their salt lamps and their fancy coffee machine, and that's it. We don't even get to see them using it.
The salt lamp, by the way, which also made an appearance in Sam's therapy room, didn't it? It's on the desk behind him. I don't know whether it was the same prop that they're just reusing or whether... What?
Himalayan salt lamps.
They're quite the thing at the moment.
I don't know. I just see them at Christmas markets.
Oh, okay.
I just think there must be a scam, but I don't know what the scam is.
Maybe the Corrie prop people have maybe got a job lot of them and say just throw them in any scene.
I just imagine they get really dusty because you can't clean them properly, can you? Because they're craggy.
Yeah, I bet Toya's got one. I'm surprised we don't see their flat because it'd be the perfect place to put one.
Probably can't move for salt lamps.
Anyway, I don't want to get any more saltier about that, so let's move on to the Dobbs story, which basically a couple of scenes of Ruby and Hope plotting away. They want to do something to make Tyrone happy, and Cassie's kind of onto them, isn't she? She sees that they're up to... It's not no good. I think it is good. But Hope or Ruby says, we can't tell you what it is yet, because we don't want to spoil the surprise.
They also say it involves her as well as Tyrone.
Yes, exactly.
Spa break.
I mean,
sexy spa break. Hope not.
I think a lot of people have seen what's maybe going to be happening next in this storyline, and I can only think that it's probably to do with that. So I don't want to speculate any further because I think I know what it is, and maybe we will find out quite soon.
Yeah. So
Gemma agrees with that.
Let's do the score.
It's such a tough week to score this week because as a trial, it feels like, well, if you're going to do something big, then you automatically get a few points. But we made it quite clear that the trial bit of it felt a little bit undercooked. Always good to see them go on location.
Yeah, there you go, Mona.
Yeah, but there was a lot that wasn't brought up in the trial that could have been, and it felt like the trial scenes were. We'll put in the bare minimum number of cross-examinations just because we've got to show something. And actually, maybe if they'd leaned a bit more into that, then another aspect of the week, I would have enjoyed it more.
I think the fact that Will got to testify twice, I'm really confused as to why nobody has anything to say about that. Because if I was Megan, I'd be mad about that and be saying, why is he allowed to do that? Like, he's perjured himself.
Well, I mean, she did shout at him for being a big liar when she was being dragged away.
But she never said, nobody's... I think if it is a thing that really happens, I would like to have had somebody discuss it.
I wonder whether there's any more leniency given to him because he's only 16.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's a
just
very
think if I
understandable
was-
thing that he did.
Yeah, I totally... Look, anything I'm saying about this isn't coming from a place of, I think it was wrong and Meghan should be allowed to walk free. I'm just recognising that the justice system really is only set up for crimes, that certain crimes that you can try, like, in a trial. Like, did you steal this? Well, you have it in your bag, so you did. Did you murder this person? Well, there's the knife and you were standing over the body. Stuff like, did you assault this person? Did you coercively control this person? These are really complicated things that I'm not sure our justice system really is set up to try those as crimes. So when they have something like this, it just, to me, exposes all the glaring inadequacies of the court system for these crimes, but it never seems to be acknowledged in the show itself by anyone talking about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, back in the day, I would feel like you would have got somebody in the Rovers going, do you reckon that did happen then? Because Will lied once and then he came back and said something different. So why is he allowed to testify twice? It doesn't really seem fair.
Why did he get a do-over?
Wait, by the way that the trials are run, it doesn't seem like it makes sense. So clearly, there's allowances made for certain crimes for certain things. Like if it was a fraud, you wouldn't get away with going, yeah, I didn't do it, and then actually I did do it, would you?
No.
I don't think. Well, the other way around, it would make more sense.
Do you have a score in mind for this week, my precious?
I'm gonna give it 3 Slumlord Smarm Pants.
Ooh, only 3.
Yeah, because I think every time we did the short, we said bog standard, like pretty bog standard.
And some of them were low.
And
bog
3,
standard,
I think, is actually a pretty good score.
I was kind of going.
It's not like the best, obviously.
I was going between 3 and 3.5, and I think that we've had this discussion before. Like, if Corrie sets itself up as a big week and then doesn't deliver quite as much as you want, should we be judging it harsher when we get to this stage? It was a pretty good week. It was okay. But yeah, I feel like I should also judge it down just because I went into it hoping for that little bit more, if that makes sense. So I'll stand with you and I'll say 3 weapons in Sam's emotional armoury or something like that. Which is,
he's been listening to too many podcasts.
Sam has been listening to too many podcasts this week. Well, I hope he's been listening to this one because we say he's great.
Gas him up, so yeah.
Exactly.
My character of the week is going to be Meghan, because Beth Nixon is fantastic and I liked her desperate scramblings and her rantings, and
Meghan really was very enjoyable to watch this week from the little that we saw of her.
I like seeing her being taken down to the cells.
I think I'm going to go Will this week. As I say, both actors did a cracking job with this. He had a bit of a wobble, but the fact is that he'd been going through an awful lot. He had a change of heart. He did the right thing. He made sure that she couldn't live to walk free again and potentially do to somebody else what she did to him.
What do you mean? He made it so she wouldn't live to walk free again?
Well, not live. You know, if he'd have stuck with his original his original statement, which was that nothing happened, then she could have gone out and done it again. I don't think that was particularly brought up, but yeah, I think that the fact that he did the right thing in the end, I think that counts for a lot for me. But yeah, I really did enjoy watching Beth as well. So a tricky one to choose from between, but they both get a point each from us.
Off the trial.
Yeah, but shout out to Ben as well. Obviously, I think he's great, and I think that he was a really important part of the week as well.
Adam?
No, I not Adam this week. Sorry, missed out again. So close. Right, that was this week's Street Talk. There we go.